And frankly, it's not really gonna be that big.
She has it down here, it ends at 8:30.
Okay, so let's value each other's input at our meetings, let's show each other respect, let's refrain from interrupting the speaker or getting up and taking off when they're talking. Let's hold our comments until they're done and raise our hand to be called on so we can eliminate the crosstalk at our meetings, okay? Thank you. So I would like to ask Carol to please have the minutes from the April 27th e-board so that we can approve them.
I only made 2 copies since I did email them to everyone so that you could look them over, but if you want a refresher, you can
I didn't get that.
take a look at this.
Did you just email it like a few minutes?
No, a couple days after our meeting, I sent them out and said,
Maybe
does anyone
you
have
did.
any corrections?
Yes, you did.
I think you signed off on it.
I did, I forgot.
It's okay.
That was early.
It's all right. So, does anybody wanna,
I'll move to accept the minutes.
so there's a motion to second the minutes. Is there any discussion? No? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody disapprove? Okay then, let's pass the minutes. Okay, let's move on to old business. Let's evaluate the May 7th meeting and location. The meeting that was at my house. I'll start off, okay? I intended the meeting to be outside, and I was kind of hoping that we'd have like 30 people. I think we had like 20.
We had
Okay,
25.
25.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay, I feel better. But it was a little packed in that living room. You know, it's kind of tight in there. So if we have the meeting again at the house, at my house, I think we should have it outside. I think it'll be warmer outside, and you know, there's more room, and I've got it nicely set up. So I think I think people could park, you know, easily, and it was easy to find, and so location-wise, I would say that would be cool. I'm open to suggestions on that. And the other thing I want to say about the meeting is that I was a little, not bummed out, but I was kind of hoping I was going to get more out of that TPP part, but I didn't. So I don't really dig the way that went. I did like that Catherine and Shana had some comments to make about tabling materials, which I thought was pretty gratifying, because I have to tell you, I don't think that a lot of our members are doing a lot of research, you know, outside of this e-board. So it was good that Catherine and Shana did that. So that was good. And I was happy that we got a new member. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sue.
we did get a new member, and not to forget that we had 3 young people there that have been invited to join us. And that's Rhonda spreading her Yes We Can cheer and trying to get new members and trying to get young members, because that would be great. So it's Hannah, Anna, and Judah, but it's really Hannah. Hannah's the kingpin. Hannah's the one that was involved in the one campaign, the Herlinda Chico campaign. And she is interested in helping us get a group of young people, because I think the key to getting young people, you can't just get one young person and then find another young person 6 months later. It's gotta be, I think it's like one young person who's a kingpin who will then bring 3 or 4 people in, so they feel like they've got like, they don't wanna just sit there with 80-year-old people. They want to have like a little team, so that like they could build a little team of themselves to do things with us. That makes sense. So anyway, that's underway. So I think that was really good. And
Cindy, actually, the way our bylaws are written, and we've left it in, we could actually create a group of younger people.
Yeah.
There's a little section there.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what we have to do in a way, because I don't see one young person joining us and then having that work. I think it's got to be like a little group who builds their group. So that's all I have to say. They're really good cookies.
I have a question. Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, it's unfortunate it wasn't until after they left, or when they left, that we found out that they had wanted to be on the agenda. That,
Well, yeah, I think
unfortunately-
Rhonda led them to believe that there would be time at the end, and she probably got that idea from me, because I said, you know, because she said Rhonda herself, she said, I'd like to talk about XYZ. I said, you know what, that'd be a great thing for you to do. Well, let's do that at the end. We have this section called announcements, and I think that should always be there for everybody, anybody, at any time, Al to come to a meeting and say, hey, I want to talk about something. Hey, Al, we've got some time at the end. So it just so happened that these young people didn't want to stay for a 3-hour meeting. Their only intention was to kind of come for an hour. They didn't know how long it lasted. You know, young people are not like focused, like, show me the agenda. You know, they just like showed up, and they would have liked to have talked about something, and I'm not sure exactly what. But anyway, we're going to meet with them shortly to see if they want to help collaborate with us. So I don't think there was any negativity about that. It's
Okay.
just young people that want to go out. They said that we've got dinner plans, we've got
I was
drinking
gonna ask
plans.
about that.
Yeah.
But the other thing I've noticed in a couple of the meetings now is that something that I think we all know but don't always pay attention to. The more people who can be involved, the better, because people like to be involved, and they're buying in when they participate. Right? So we should always be careful not to make sure there's plenty of opportunity. Of course, you know, you have to watch and make sure we don't have someone who's just going to walk away with the meeting.
Right.
But you know, the kind of thing that Shayna and Catherine were involved in, or when we had the meeting with equity and
Right.
the Moby parts, where everyone had a really good opportunity to talk. Right?
Breaking into small groups. We know that's powerful, and we haven't done that every single meeting, but we have done it several times. But we can continue to do that, I think.
You know?
But that was thanks to Laurel, because she
Right.
called on them. I thought
Right.
that
No,
was
that was
a really good
excellent.
idea, because
It was, huh?
you could have just said, yeah, they did some reports, and, you know,
Yeah, but
we'll
you
show them
guys-
to you later, but it was so much better to have them talk
Yeah.
about it, because it was something they were interested in.
Well,
That's always
but
the
you
best
guys, there
thing.
was part of my ongoing issues about process, you know, I had been assigned and I had volunteered to get some people to start writing things. And so at that meeting at Polly's, I got them to do it. And part of the process is, if I ask Miss X over there to do something that's going to have benefit for our group, I said, you will be sharing it at the upcoming meeting, whenever it is. And I mean, I don't think you're sounding like it's a surprise or anything, but I had been saying all along that they were going to come back and report, because that is part of the process that you do. So if you know, in fact, it's going to come up again, because I have a little thing I want to talk about when we get, like you said, you had some things to share for tabling. Well, I have, you know, again, I'm trying to figure out how to select topics and prioritize topics, and then I'm going to go out and try to find people who will do that. And then if I do that, then they have to be able to be on the agenda. I mean, it's just a system, you know, it's not like magic or anything. So I didn't see them on the agenda, even though I had talked about it, so I was very happy that I was able just to fit them in there.
Well, we can put them specifically on the agenda if you tell me, like, I'm gonna have, you know, so-and-so speak about their paper that they gave me.
I did, though. I did do that. But maybe I didn't write it down, but I think at one of our last meetings, I said, don't forget to put Shayna and Catherine on there.
Okay.
So, but anyway, I mean, yes, I agree. People need to be involved. And, you know, I think it's interesting, because I've mulled over the speaker, Julian, and I thought, I mean, it certainly energized the room, but the way he started out, like, here, sign these letters, was not good. And the guy next to me, our brand new guy, Bill, he was mumbling about that. And he's more on the lines, I think, of you and a few other, you know, where he's just like, you know, he's very open and very liberal, but anyway, it was not a big mistake or anything, because people talked about it and it worked out. But I do think that because it was not real, you know, wasn't planned Julian didn't plan it a little bit better, then I think it took more of our time, and then the comment section was cut short. So I do think when we have speakers come, we need to say, I mean, not like tell them what to say or anything, but just say, you know, you're going to have like 20 minutes, and can you share with me what you're going to be doing? And if he had said to any one of us, well, I'm going to start by having him write letters, well, no, I don't think that's a
He
good
wanted
idea.
to show a video or a slideshow
He wanted
first.
Yeah, and then
we
if
weren't
he
set
had,
up because he didn't tell, I guess, didn't
well,
tell
and
us.
plus
Yeah, but
if he
you
had,
know-
plus if he had shown that to start, that probably wouldn't have been a whole lot better
I
than,
agree.
Might not have been.
because
Might
it
have been
was,
too
it
long,
was,
too.
no,
Yeah.
it was just
It wasn't
real,
useful.
yeah. No, yeah, so it's just a lesson learned, about how to set it up. But I also, even though I don't agree with Julian about certain things, I like him. He's a great
Yeah,
guy.
me too.
And I'm glad to have him be part of our circle, and I hope he wasn't offended by, anything anybody said.
We saw him at the
He's
convention, and we
good.
palled around with him.
Okay,
He was very
good.
nice to us,
Okay.
and he was very complimentary to our group.
Okay, good,
Even
great.
that night, I thought he felt, it
You
slowed down a
felt
little
okay?
bit.
Yeah, but he did, you think he felt okay about it? Because
Yeah.
he kind of got pushback.
Yeah.
I think you were one who gave him a little.
He's okay.
He has a
He's
tough
okay.
skin.
He is,
He's the
yeah, he's a
president
poli-
of
he's
a
a
Dem
political
club
guy.
for a long time.
Yeah,
He's the
okay,
president
all right.
of a Dem Club.
Anyway,
It's a
that
good
would be-
coalition group to be connected
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
I think. We did a good
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah,
More good than bad. I agree, he's not the best speaker in the world. I don't think he was polished in any way, but that's okay. I think we will survive as a club as a result.
oh,
We'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
okay.
But I mean, in a way, it worked out, to me, it worked out pretty well because we can see the flaws with just asking someone to come without having a little bit more of a parameter about it if we've got other things. So, it worked out.
But I think it was because we had advertised we were gonna talk about the TVP that Bill came.
It is, he told me that's why
Yeah,
he came.
so we got a new member out of it.
Yeah.
It's true,
So
it's true.
Pluses and minuses.
But he was ticked off under his breath by the way that Julian was kind of like forcing his issue without explaining
Yeah,
it.
it's kinda weird to
He kept
start
saying,
off with
he
the
kept
letter.
saying,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
I came to find out,
Yeah.
and he's not telling me anything.
Yeah.
And I said, just call, it's okay. He seems like a really good guy.
He does
New
seem
Bill.
like, he seems like an old-time activist. to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
so.
But sort of really,
He does, he does have a good conversation, I noticed. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other-
And
Well, he
he's-
joined,
He's
didn't he? He
working,
paid his
he
dues.
joined, and he's working with Dagmar and Phil and Shayna.
Yeah, he volunteered
On the
to do
Prop
that
47.
project.
Oh, the
for me.
prison.
So I sent his
Yeah.
name to
Awesome.
Sharon.
So there you go.
we spent a long time together.
That was quite an experience.
So are you guys open to having the meeting at the house again? Or would you like to have it at another place, or?
I think during the summer it'll work, right?
I think so too.
Yeah,
Because we haven't found another place that's better, I don't think.
yeah, and I think that maybe this would be the time to talk a little bit about other places just briefly, but I think for long-term, especially as Cindy and her group get doubling our group with our membership, that it's probably not
Uh-oh,
going to
I'm
be,
in trouble now.
well, you already said, we're on the move.
I know.
Pressure.
That it's going to be, it's probably not going to be big enough, but somebody said, it was great to be able to hear everybody, which I like. But, so the other night, Dagmar and I went to the Long Beach Dems, and they're at the IHOP on Atlantic. Well, there's an IHOP at Bellflower and
Like where the fish tail
Stearns,
was.
Stearns. There's also the Park Pantry, which Stuart already let us know that there isn't good internet access, but honestly, in the IHOP, it's a brand new IHOP, and it didn't look like there was internet access in that either, but it was
Well,
hard to tell.
Just internet, it was power, access to power.
Yeah. No, I understand. That one was, that's still a possibility, I guess, unless
Good
everybody hates it.
parking.
Only,
Yeah.
huh?
Good
Where?
parking.
Good parking
At the
lot.
IHOP that she's talking
At the
about.
IHOP
was
over
down
there.
Does it have a meeting room? Because that's a really small IHOP.
That I don't know, but I think
Because
there's,
the one in North Long Beach is kind of yucky for that, but
for what?
for the fact that it's got those booths and it's an awkward
Yeah,
seating
that's-
arrangement and.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a little bit off, and they have so few people coming in there anyway that it works.
But we're not going there, but.
No. I mean, but
Yeah.
No, but yeah,
thinking
so
the other one might
I'm
be
just saying,
similar,
I'm just
but-
saying that, I'm just throwing out some ideas. Then we also, Dagmar and I, no, sorry, Cindy and I went to the Progressive Dems, and they met in the Denny's, and so there is a Denny's at 7th and PCH. There in that little triangle thing. There is parking at the back area. That Denny's was just refurbished, and meeting in that Denny's there were 60-some people there.
Where
It was
did
a
they
private,
park?
it's a private room, and it's a Denny's, big parking.
Seventh and PCH.
No,
this
the
is
one in
We were
Carson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
Yeah,
now
yeah.
another
That's
Denny's
right.
closer to us.
Another
We don't wanna
Denny's.
go to Carson, right?
So it's like opened my eyes to these bigger
Yeah,
restaurants that make it a little bit more neutral, when it's in somebody's house, as we found from Chris Robeson's house, and we might have found from your house. It just adds another dimension,
You're
although
right.
it also adds another, to me, it adds another good dimension, but whether that outweighs being sort of a neutral meeting ground kind of thing.
So
I would say-
most of the organizations that I've had meetings with have met in hotels, because they cater to that type of thing.
Usually
But,
costs.
but that costs, but I don't know if it'd be possible to find one. Actually, the Los Cerritos Wetlands was meeting in the,
Trailer park.
Golden Sales, right? And then they gave it up when the Golden Sales reduced their rooms after the hourly wage went up, and they were obviously but that was affordable, because it's, kind of old and everything, and they had all they're very quiet, and they have the connections and the setup and everything.
You just need to check in and see how much because we don't think we even, if they said, well, just be $50 a month, I'm not sure.
No, I don't think we.
No,
Yeah,
it'd be
so-
too
No,
much.
and-
So we just need someone to call
Well,
them.
except there might be times when we would be able to make use of something like that, if we were doing some special type of
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, yeah, but
Save
for our
that for-
meetings, for our regular meetings.
Anyway, that was just to throw out there. I don't have,
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion one way or the other, but having been in the last month to 2 different meetings and then, the Omelet House in San Pedro. Excuse me. Chocolate covered almonds, raisins.
Water?
Well.
I'm not choking.
If you guys like meeting at the house, maybe we can do that for the summer months, but still keep in mind that when the cooler months start, we might want to.
Think
Which
of
means
some-
we have to find
some-
something.
We need to look now.
Yeah, and
Can
that's,
people hear, like if they're gonna be sitting at tables and the sound, because you have a lot of
Guess what I
family
have?
parties.
I have a tabletop mic and I have that rocker, so yes, they will be able to hear.
Okay.
well, they
There's
could hear.
ample lighting.
I didn't think that was an issue with the group we
We're
had.
talking
You-
about
Well, we were
outside,
inside.
though.
Now we're gonna go outside.
Oh, got it,
Remember,
got
we were
it.
inside,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not gonna do inside,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
she
got
thinks it's too tight.
And I have to
got
say
it.
that pets are okay, but from now on, they must be outside.
Well, we will be outside too.
I know,
So you
but the
mean
pets
outside
can
in
be
a-
outside in this
a
little
different-
area that
A
I've kind of closed off.
segregated area, yeah,
Yes, they can
Yeah, that was a
play.
little strange.
yeah.
Yes,
But anyway,
it's okay, Catherine.
yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the next thing.
Are you
here.
making any assignments though about somebody? Should we divvy up to see people
Check.
calling and checking, or else are we
For
just
the
leaving
fall,
it?
for the fall season,
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be a bad
I
idea.
think anybody can. I mean, you've already done a lot of investigation.
Well, I haven't
You
really.
mentioned Denny's and IHOP, and those are
Well, I've
places
just been
that we can-
thinking,
But
but
go
I
look at
have
Denny's.
called.
Yeah.
I've spoken at length at Park Pantry. I did stop by.
I still am gonna hold out for a community room
Not
at
too
no
small.
cost through the
The one-
city,
huh?
because I think we
Where?
deserve
The
it.
one on Broadway.
Robert Garcia, I
You
hope
think
you
this
will
is
watch
Have you
this.
tried
Yeah.
him?
27 people in the background.
I'll have to keep trying. But anyway,
For
let's move
Robert
on to the
Garcia?
next one.
Well,
Let's evaluate the tabling on Second Street. Who would like to talk about that? Yes,
Oh, you had me down.
yes, go ahead.
So I could see the good side of doing it on Friday nights is that we are teaming up with other clubs. We're doing more coalition building, which is great. I do notice a little difference in that same location. We used to do it on Saturday mornings, and I think there's a difference in the feeling, I think, at 9 in the morning on a Saturday versus an evening at
Oh, yeah.
7:30. It's a different experience. So in some ways, I kind of think we would do better in the morning than we do at night, but we lose the coalition building, so there's pluses and minuses. I do think we need an angle beyond just saying register to vote, register to
Yes,
vote.
yes.
There's not an election next week or next month or even at the end of this year. The next election is in February. We'll have a primary, because we don't have primaries in California, but then there'll be a national primary where, let's say, Bernie Sanders will be on the ballot with, against Hillary, say, for example, or if you're a Republican, there'll be that primary, but that's in February. So my thought is that we need to come up with another hook, not to say we never say the words register to vote again, but the fact is, we need another hook of what we can say to people to get their attention to come over. You know, whether it's using the Monopoly board and we're playing a game and we say, step right up, join our Monopoly, you know, we're playing, pay to play, take a ticket, somehow get them in that way, or some other hook.
Well, I think that's what you can use the information sheets, depending on what's happening, and then if there's an issue that, where you can ask people, do you know about this?
Right.
Why don't you make a call?
Yeah.
But
So we
just
need to
have to
talk
wait
about
and see what the
messaging,
issue
you
is.
know, like for
But-
each upcoming event, we should say, hey, here's our hook this week. Next month, we'll do another hook, here's our new hook.
I mean, we can't plan all those too much in advance.
No,
We
no,
don't know
but
what's
just
gonna
that we
happen.
need a hook, because I noticed we were saying a lot to people, register to vote, register to vote, no, Yeah,
I just think that.
Yeah, I agree with
The coalition that we've been working with, they have some really good hooks. They have pictures of all those young men that died in the war, with a candle at each one. They burn sage at their table. They have a little jar of
Which group is
candies.
that?
This is the Long Beach Peace Network.
Peace Network.
And they all sit together, you know, and they look like a tribe when you walk up, right? And they talk to people. They stand there and they talk to people. I have the megaphones. I have the little clapper as just part of a way to get people's attention. I think the Monopoly board thing gets people's attention. If we could make a game out of it, that would be good.
I'm
But
gonna
I-
get the dice.
I agree with you
Big
that there is a totally
fuzzy car
different
dice.
vibe at night from the morning. And here's my take on that. On a Friday night, you've got a lot more younger people. They're out to have a good time. And when I talk to them, some of them come over, like we got a couple of people to register to vote. Young people that
That's-
registered as Democrats. They were
It's
engaged,
one in
you
a
know.
million, but we got them, yeah.
But most people are like, oh, you know, I gotta go, I'm with my girl, we're gonna have dinner, or whatever the heck, you know. And in the mornings, you have people that come by who are like, they've got purpose, you know, they're going to work, or
They're
they're,
going to the bank, they're
They're
walking their dog.
Or they're
They're going to
jogging
dry
or something.
cleaners, yeah,
They're
it's
taking a
Saturday
little
morning
time off.
errands, you know.
Doing
but at the same time, they're like, okay, I've got purpose here, oh yeah, I've gotta register to vote, I moved, or, you know, yeah, I need to do this. So there's that angle. And I don't think it would be a bad thing if we registered on a Friday night and registered voters on a Saturday morning in that same location. The good thing about the Friday night thing was that you could park in
Yeah.
that section,
Mhm.
so that was pretty good.
Oh, at the bank.
Yes.
There is, now, you know, being on Second Street virtually every day of my life now that I'm a walker, I'm telling you the difference between Saturday night and, Friday night and Saturday morning is a whole different group of people.
Yeah.
So depending on what our goals are. And so to me, in this non-election year, when we talk about tabling, it really is it's about figuring out why we're tabling. What is our purpose? You know, why are we down there and doing what we do? Because I think Cindy's right, you know, most people are not, registering to vote is not in their high impact
Priority.
list of things to do right
You know,
now.
One thing we could do, because what's in the news now is who's going to run. We could maybe come up with a little game type thing
That's a good idea.
about,
Mhm.
you know, Hillary versus Elizabeth,
I
or
bet you could do
Kamala
that.
versus
Take a survey.
Loretta Sanchez. Yeah, a little
What if we had one of
survey.
those
Loretta
speeches,
Sanchez.
right? And
Well,
you
like
had
which
like all
one?
these
Which one?
faces on it.
Yeah, which one do you want now? Or you know, something
You know,
like
spin
that.
the wheel. Who do you get? Oh, you got Newt Gingrich, and how would he be as a president? You know, something like
No,
that.
but you
You're
know,
making it more of a fun
But-
thing,
but-
you're talking more like a real thing.
No, I mean
I mean,
a
you
fun
wouldn't
thing.
do-
No, I mean a fun thing.
Yeah, but you
Absolutely,
wouldn't talk
because
about Newt
it's
Gingrich, or would you?
it's to, no.
No.
It would be to get people's attention, and the value it
Ludicrous.
would add would to be to bring the people to talk to us. But it would also make them more aware of who the players are, because we're at this point, we're not gonna say we're for this one or that one. We could express our personal opinions and say, well, I kind of, you know, have this one, but, you know,
We could have
we
a
don't
question:
care.
who will elect the next judge on the Supreme Court? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Questions that are thought-provoking.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are good advertising
Mhm.
draws.
Yeah, we need a
Books.
little session of actually planning that. I mean, I
Yeah.
do think there's gonna be
Exactly.
needed, and I think I would nominate Laurel to lead that, since she's the education and research person.
well,
To build a little team of people who are gonna be tabling.
I want to be on that team.
Yeah, I think Maria needs to do the fun part of it. I mean,
Yeah.
the stuff that would require the visual aids
But
and things.
I'm just saying it
right?
requires a meeting before the actual
Yes,
tabling event
you're
to
right,
talk,
but
because we're not gonna
Laurel would
plan
be
that
excellent
today.
to do the
Yeah.
planning.
well,
of
no,
it.
but, well, see, I guess, yeah, I mean, I think that fits in the job description as I've been,
We're kind of evolving into our tabling talk, but that's okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
well, I thought, isn't that what we were talking about?
Actually, we're evaluating the Second Street.
location.
Oh,
We
okay,
can-
all
we
right,
can
why don't you
skip-
hold it then,
we can hold
we'll
it.
follow the agenda.
Let's move on to the pay-to-play screening through the tool, the online tool called Tug. Now, I started this thing on Tug because I was curious what Tug is. And for those of you who don't know, Tug is an online tool. Tug will say, Maria, if you want to show your film at one of these theaters in town, we will arrange with the theater to have your show played there. If you, Maria, can get X number of people to buy a ticket, in this case for $11, and if you get a certain amount of people, $11, just like a regular movie ticket. You can have, these people show up and watch your film, and I think you actually get like a little bit of that too.
Yeah, 5%. The club would
Which is
get
a tiny
5%.
bit.
It's like a new thing, we wanted to try it out.
But here's the
Okay.
deal.
Oh, okay.
Here's the catch, right? They only give you like a certain number of days during the week. And usually it's like the Monday and the Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're not gonna give you a Friday, Saturday, Sunday day, okay? I get it, that's cool. So if you think that you could get enough people to go to a show Monday through Thursday, then it might be a good thing. But here's the thing, you have to have a really ambitious ad marketing campaign in place, ready to go. You can't just go, okay, yeah, I'll do this thing, and then not advertise it from
Yeah.
the get-go.
Because we've been on that system now for at least 3 weeks, and we've had like 4 people sign up.
And I'm one of them, and Carol's.
And I'm one of them, okay?
Yeah, so
here's
That's
the
3
deal.
out of 4 right
So
now.
Oh,
just
well, who is that fourth person? Find that person.
Okay, so here's the deal. Leisure World Dem Club is interested in this event. I spoke to this lady named Mary Larson, who's the publicist for Leisure World Democratic Club, and they're going to promote it tomorrow night at their meeting. And she has a press release all ready to go, and it will run in their newsletter that goes to 2,000 people.
Golden Ring.
But it's all, here's the
And the
trick,
golden ring.
our deadline is May 24th. If we don't get
Is that what it
75
is?
people
Friday.
by May 24th, then what will happen is, first of all, nobody's credit card is charged. So let's say 50 people sign up and they want to do it, their credit card's not charged. And nothing happens till May 24th. If we get the number of people, then the minute we get the number of people, then their credit card's charged, and they get an email saying, hey, guess what, your showing is working, it's gonna happen on June the 1st. And if it doesn't work, then they'll get an email going, your screening is canceled, and your credit card has not been charged.
Yes, Carol.
Sorry, Karen.
I thought the original idea for the June 1st screening was that Stella was
No.
bringing the
No,
coalition people?
Not at all. What had
No.
happened was the June 1st thing was Maria going online. She heard about this Tug thing, which I told her about. She said, oh, I picked June 1st. I said, wow, why did you pick that date? She said, well, it was better than Tuesday or Wednesday. I picked Monday, okay? So then what happened is I'm trying to get Holly Mosher and John Ennis, the director and the producer, to come to not only Stella's event, but to come to this June 1st event. And of course, they're saying, wow, why don't you do Stella's event and everything on June 1st at the United Artists Theater? Hey, do it at a real theater and combine them together. And I said, well, that's a great idea, but it's up to Stella and her team. If they're not available June 1st, then we can't do it June 1st. So Stella went to her group, and nobody is liking June 1st. So although that would be a perfect solution, they don't like it. So they're back to doing
What is their date?
June 1st is the United Artists Day that
No,
Maria
I got
signed up
that.
for.
No,
Stella
Stella's date.
doesn't have a date.
Oh.
She said, oh, let me try. So instead of saying to her people, is June 1st good or give me a second date? She just said, is June 1st good? And it's taken like 2 weeks for them to decide, no, we don't want June 1st. So now,
Yeah, everybody wants like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. It's like.
well, for Stella, her deal is they really don't want to go spend $11, okay? Their idea was they have a giant meeting room, much bigger than this, and they have 30 people come at, just like we're meeting.
Yeah.
We have a scheduled meeting, you come, right? Well, they
like
have a
it.
scheduled meeting, and they were going to show it at that. So, but for some reason, we don't seem to have a date. So I don't know why we don't
I
have a
know
date,
why,
but
because they're totally doing that state of the city thing right now.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what I'm
completely
understanding.
focused
Yeah.
on that.
and she said that
Which is
she
for May
couldn't do
27.
anything until June. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly,
So-
because until this is over,
No, she told me she would know before that. She said that is not a problem for her. She just said,
So
oh,
Any minute
Cindy.
now, she's gonna.
She was just saying to her people, hey, how about June 1st? So it took 2 weeks for everybody to go, yeah, like, no, I don't.
Okay, that's
So
okay.
now we're back to-
I don't think it's going to happen, I don't think we're gonna, but on
We
the other
tried.
hand, I like the tool, and like I said, if you have a campaign, a marketing plan in place, ready to go, with your ads ready to go, then it makes sense to do this.
Here's what Holly suggested. She said, understand, if June 1st doesn't work, that's fine, Cindy. We will come to your showing whatever date you do it. What I suggest you do is, once this one is dead on May 24th, go online, set up one for around July 4th, so that people might be willing to do it around the July 4th. If you can find a date in and around there, schedule it then, and then you'll have a lot of time to market it.
We'll have to really keep our fingers crossed for that, because that's like a holiday weekend in theaters.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
no,
and
she
people
said-
also leave town, so.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes they do, but that was their suggestion, or just do it in July, so you have more time. This one we didn't, Maria went online, picked June 1st, it was already April 30th.
If
and
anyone
so
is
whatever.
interested in looking at TUG, I'll send you the link.
I've
It's
been
really-
sending it out to them.
It's totally
Yeah,
easy
I
to get
glanced
it
at it,
and
but
just
it just
read
seemed-
it and,
I was kind of put off by the $11.
yeah.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
not, that's reasonable for a movie, but, like, would just the average person come to see a movie that's very politically oriented called Pay to Play and spend $11?
If it was a Democratic clubs, I think you could
Yeah,
get them to do that.
that's the
Yeah.
thing, if you have a target audience, like
Yeah.
the people, the Democratic
The
Club,
seal-
the senior
seal,
world,
yes,
you know,
leisure
that
world,
would, or
yeah.
leisure world, that would be.
So
And
I
if they
told her-
don't do that, could we maybe go to that group
So
and
I
show it
told
for
her, yeah,
free?
Yes,
what I
we
said to Mary,
can.
what I said to Mary was, Mary, if you guys can't make it on the 1st of June, no problem. Know that we will schedule one in July, and you let everyone know, they have my phone number, so maybe we'll get it kicked off in July.
What is the advantage of going through TUG? Because you get to show it in a real theater?
It's in a real
Yes.
theater,
Big
and
screen,
John
buttered
and
popcorn,
Holly will make
chairs.
themselves
Nice part.
available to come.
Yeah,
what-
but I
what-
mean, why would John and Holly came to our other events that weren't in theaters?
Yeah,
So they
but
probably would, but it's just like the movie
this is their
experience.
But what's wrong with doing it at the art theater on Fourth
It's
Street?
$800.
Oh,
Yeah, we can do
that
that.
we have to come up with
Yes,
first.
yes, so this way it's $11 and I even said to Stella, listen, if you've got some of your people who don't wanna pay, we'll figure out a way, don't worry. We'll get the $11, we just tell them, I want them there, forget the monies.
Okay, now, there's another thought to this. I just want to add that today I was at McGaw Elementary School talking to 120 students, showing a slideshow in the McGaw School auditorium. As we discussed before, when you had me look one time a couple years ago at the Hill
Yeah.
Middle School.
Like Cal State Long Beach.
Right. So McGaw would charge. It's a great auditorium. It's big. It holds 700, it holds about 700 people. I've been
Wow.
in that auditorium a ton of times. There are community events there. We could have it any night that was available. My guess is that it's probably about $200 to rent. So, I mean, it just clicked as you were saying it. And the other piece
Wow.
about that is it's about a hop, skip, and a jump from Leisure World.
Awesome.
So that's another possibility, and I know that's my district. I think I couldn't pull any strings per se, but I would be listened to about we need this kind of thing. We'd have to pay. There'd be
How do
no
you spell
waivers. McGaw, MC, capital GAUGH. It was like dudes.
Gaw, okay.
McGaw.
So it's located in that
It's-
Los Alamos.
No, it's on PCH and Seal Beach Boulevard, almost to the corner,
Yeah, right by the
Oh.
Leisure World.
right by
Just
Leisure World.
imagine if we got like the Gray Panthers to come and Leisure World guys to come and.
So, well, Leisure World is up here, and then there's Westminster. If you're going down Seal Beach
Yeah,
Boulevard, there's
yeah.
Westminster, and you just go past Westminster, down past the Charles Schwab and all that, and down, it's right there. It's been there since 1920.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's another thought,
That's a
that
great idea.
instead of a movie theater experience, they could have a theater type experience. Maybe there could be popcorn out in front. And the cost, and if they, let's see, let's figure it out just roughly. Let's say they got 50 people and it was $200, then it would be $4 a person, which seems like it would be a lot more,
Like
because
it.
there's no cost to show it. So anyway, I'm just saying that's another thought, if we're trying
I
to
like
get.
that
And
idea.
then we were also talking about doing a fundraiser for the club and doing something kind of youngish, where we're at the art theater, or we're at that cool place that you
Madhouse.
found, or, you know, and then we use the big 45-foot Monopoly board. I
Right.
mean, but we really were talking about that. I don't know whether we're really gonna accomplish it at this
I
point.
wonder
but-
what those places on Pine, that,
The Madhouse.
I don't know what it's called, but still,
You know, the Madhouse.
Yeah.
It's
That's
called the
the one.
Madhouse and it's like $500.
is it?
But
But, you know, if she
But
gets
it's
the room
young.
free on the one where they're selling sort of newly made antiques.
mhm.
It's on
New antiques.
the 200 number
That's
right on
called,
Pine,
oh,
they're right
Made-
past
Made in Long Beach.
Starbucks.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's called the Made in
there's a
Long
name
Beach.
for that.
It's
like-
called Main in Long Beach, and they have the third of the room is just got tables, and there was a lot of room for planning for the
Have to
green
check that
prize.
out.
I mean,
I
it just
thought you
depends on
might
who we
bug
wanna
over there and
target
check
it
it
to.
out.
If we want younger people, you know, we'd be
It's-
better off
it's
at the art
fun.
theater,
I
or
mean, it
the
is younger.
Madhouse, or.
Well, you know,
or if we
another
want
thing-
older people.
What if we got those 3 young folks through Rondi, and asked them where they'd like to have it?
Excellent idea.
And then we can, and then what would make you
Yeah.
come?
We need a whole planning team to sit with them and do
Right.
that. I mean,
But
we
that's
did plan it, but
fundraiser
that's a whole
talk,
nother
so
thing.
we'll have
That's
to,
good.
we'll have to
Yeah,
put
Those
that
are
off for
granola
another
bars.
meeting.
Granola
Okay.
cookies.
Let's move on to new
Now wait,
biz.
but now wait, I feel a little unresolved, so we've had all this discussion, now what? What's the next step? Is there
For the
anything else
tug?
to do? Well,
It's
no,
probably gonna
any
die.
of this stuff, what do you need to have done next?
Yeah, we need a team of people to, just like the mayoral debate. Think about the mayoral, it would have never happened if there hadn't been a group of people
Exactly.
who met maybe 10
But you're talking about
times.
fundraiser, right?
But that, it's a fundraiser, it's a screening, it's
We
all
were,
of the
we were
above.
talking about just this screening
Yeah.
though, so if you wanna
Okay.
talk about fundraiser, that's a different discussion.
All right, but wait, now, so if we don't get the numbers by the 24th, Cindy has said to the COB, or Leisure World Dem Club, that we will make it happen. Do you need a team to make it happen?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if that one, maybe not such a huge team, but a couple people.
Okay, well,
To
I'm,
make
Yeah.
it happen, it being,
The screening
Screening,
for
yeah.
the Leisure World people
Okay.
instead of the one on June 1st, which looks like, I mean, it could
Do
happen.
do they
I
have
mean-
don't they have a meeting room there?
Yeah, I was gonna say, they must have a community room.
Yeah, it's not about a room, I mean, it's about us.
Well, but we
Providing-
would still be presenting.
It's a
and
matter of-
They're all voters, and,
Yeah,
you know.
it's, here's the deal, they're gonna promote this June 1st one, and
Uh-huh.
we could be very surprised. They could bring us
yes.
50 people, but we might have to do some work here and pull at least 10 people from our club. I mean, we've got 28 members. Could we find 10 people to come? You know what I mean?
I was gonna
So,
ask you if
like,
it'd be possible to, well, since, I thought Stella was gonna do this thing, if we can have access to her list of like
you can call
activists.
her and ask her.
Okay, then I'll ask her. I didn't know she
Yeah.
shared anything with you because
No.
I thought we could call these guys up and say, hey, we're
She
gonna do
feels,
this.
she says she's asked them
That's
about
okay.
June 1st.
It's cool.
But we couldn't market
But
them.
we're now talking about 3 different screenings,
Yeah.
Yeah.
aren't we?
Well, the tug ones
Well,
are
we
probably
can all
not gonna
sing and
happen.
dance.
The two of them could happen.
I can't.
Okay.
We can't throw out the tug thing until it's actually canceled on the
Like,
24th.
Is there anything else we could do for the tug one to happen on June 1st? Is there
Well, what
anybody
I
that could
wanted
make
to
the
do
phone
was call
calls?
people and say, please come to this thing. And I was hoping to get a list of activists from Stella because I thought,
But I think she might be right about them not wanting to pay the $11. If you go to those coalition meetings, that
Yeah.
are primarily young people, a lot of them students,
Yeah.
they
It's
don't
a lot
have
of money.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
So we could make some phone calls to, and it's not like we want them to come, we need them to go online right now. Like, hello, I'm on the phone, please go onto your computer, type in, buy a ticket, because if we
The only
don't get them
reason-
to do
The
it.
only reason I hesitate to call our members is because our members have been inundated with this pay-to-play screening thing. We have called them
Yeah,
many
yeah.
times.
And
About
some of
this,
us have seen 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but some of them haven't seen it
You
at
know,
all.
What about the Long
Really?
Beach Dem Club? Could someone make a presentation to them? Could someone, I mean, I don't know, maybe we just
We-
wanna kill this, but
No.
I was trying to give
Well,
it a.
we could have done that at the Long Beach Dem Club
It
meeting.
was a weird
But-
meeting
but-
and not very well attended.
Well,
Yeah.
But right now, we can't do that because the Dem Club meeting will be after.
Well, we don't have to do it during a DEM club meeting, can't they? Don't they have do they have a list of people that we
Maybe
can
we
call?
should-
what?
Prioritize, I kind of think the June 1st thing is just not gonna make it, so what about prioritizing these other screenings that
Yeah, I
we're
think
talking
I'd rather
about?
concentrate on the
like,
seniors.
The Leisure World one and the one for
Stella.
Stella's group.
It's as much of a young movie as it is an old movie. Think about the actual movie.
Yeah.
It's not an old person's movie necessarily, right?
Well, if we
Well, I
did
don't think
Stella's
it's
group and we
either
did
way,
Leisure
so.
World, we would have both
Yeah,
ends.
well,
of the
Stella's gonna
spectrum.
get that done. I mean, she's gonna pick a date and she's gonna have a little meeting like she always has. We're gonna bring the video. I'm gonna see if Holly will make the trip to Long Beach for the 30 people. I'm praying you will.
So you think we don't have to plan that one then?
So that
Yeah.
one's, it's just me and Stella working together. Yeah, we don't have to plan that one. That's
All
just her. I gotta give her a video. That's the work I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
do.
the one we need to plan is the Leisure World one then.
It is not a Leisure World one. I just think we should have one for fundraiser for this club.
So you need,
Well,
you
we need
want,
to talk about fundraisers specifically,
Yeah.
because I think when we do fundraiser, we have to have a group of people devoted to that.
Yeah.
We know how to do that, we've done that, so
Yeah.
we can do it again. Okay, does anybody have any more discussion about the tug event? Okay, let's
I'll
move
go
on.
if you let me know. I mean,
I'll send you a link.
you know.
You know how to click the link.
do you have $11?
I'm not saying
Okay.
I'm going to the movie,
Oh.
I'm just gonna learn the tug thing.
Oh!
Oh,
Learn the
No.
tug
I
thing.
see, yeah, okay.
That was,
I'll
All right,
send
we're
you a link.
moving
thought
on
that
to new
sort of went
business.
together.
Let's talk about tabling for June, and I'll kick this off, okay? I think that after our meeting on June 4th, with the next day, Friday, I want to table at Bixby Knolls. I have a lot of materials from the convention that I'll share with you guys later when we talk about that. I'll show you guys some stuff. And I think that maybe by that time, we'll have some materials from Catherine Benamou and from Shayna, possibly other people that we can have at our tabling event.
I'll speak to that in a minute.
Okay. I also think that we can table on the Twilight, it's called the Twilight Walk, and it's the third Friday on Pine Avenue downtown. Now, I've heard a few comments that this sounds kind of scary because it's Pine Avenue downtown.
Yeah,
But
well,
you know what?
police there.
I think it'll be okay, and I'm willing to do that one too.
Well,
June 19th is the date. if I'm correct.
well, the way in the past, they always had security people right on Pine. So I don't know if it's changed in the last
I just
years.
think it'll be okay. I mean, you know, we're a voter registration table. It's not like we're selling incense or something. I mean, you know, I think it'll be okay.
Did any of you see the last show of Mad Men last night?
No, don't tell me.
Anyway, incense reminded me of that. Okay, let me throw another thing into the mix. This was discussed at the Monday meeting at the Dem Club. Al Austin was there. On June 6th, Saturday, between 9 and 4, there is an event called Beach Streets. This is the second annual. They're closing off Wardlow to
At least to Del Amo, but I think it
No,
goes
no.
higher than that. Goes to South Street, right? Doesn't it?
It goes, it's a round trip, 7 miles, walking, biking, and socializing. It goes to Hayward Street, Harding Street is where it goes.
Oh, wow.
Wardlow to Harding.
Mhm.
The Long Beach Dem Club is going to have a table out there. So these were passed out. Al Austin made a pitch for it. It's sponsored by Metro. This is kind of a cute little card.
It's cool.
Anyway, so right away I said to Dagmar, maybe we could table there as well. We
And
just
I'm
have to.
already tabling there, right, for the wetlands, right?
Okay, so there are other community
I wanna
groups
do
doing that.
What date?
That's the 6th
Yeah.
from
June
9 to
6th.
4.
Six.
And so entertainment and activity along the route. I did go and look it up actually online. Oh, actually I did. See right here, I have it. Anyway, they're going to be like mimers and food, and this is the route right here. We could stop off in
Diane
Forest
Daly
Lawn.
would do it with us too.
Who would?
We could invite
Diane.
Diane Daly to join us, and she
She might,
would
yeah.
like to maybe join the club.
All right, well, anyway, yeah, that's another thing. Anyway, so I'm just throwing that in the mix as a possibility. It sounds really, I mean, apparently last year it was our first annual, and they had hundreds and hundreds of people, and they're thinking this year it's going to be even hundreds more.
You said June
June sixth at what time?
Here, June 6th from 9 to 4. Here, let me give you this. Let me, here, pass that down.
3 days of tabling, or 3 days
Well,
of, yeah, that's
all right.
okay.
Well, maybe we
I think you
wanna
should-
skip the Bixby Knolls, cause that's
Yeah.
an all-day thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could go in for a couple hours, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be fairly spread out because of the
This
distance.
looks really cool, I love that.
Isn't that a cute thing?
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
This looks great.
So that, we just picked
I think
that
we
up
should do
Monday. We
that.
just picked it up Monday, so, or I
Awesome.
did, so. And then I looked it up because I didn't know what it was all about.
When you looked it up, were you able to determine if you have to register for it?
No,
So from Wardlow
I mean,
to
I
Jordan
know I
High,
wasn't, but I don't think so.
It's to Jordan High, Houghton Street. Houghton Park is right next to Jordan
Yeah,
High.
yeah.
Or all on,
It's pretty
all on
far,
Atlantic,
but-
by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't say that originally, did I?
There's a Supermax on the way.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Oh.
thank you. This is great. Okay. Does anybody else want to talk about some tabling?
Well, I want to talk about what we're going to hand out at the table.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Do you want to look at this?
what we have so far is, I mean, I need some input from people. One of our purposes of tabling is to register voters. Another purpose, as we've been discussing, is to share educational materials. So the issue is, what is going to get people to step over to our table to look at our educational materials? That's number one. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just throwing this out. Because, like, for example, Catherine and her dog gave a really good little analysis. But what Catherine gave me was 1 3/4 pages of bullet points, which is not appropriate for
much, yeah.
for a tabling flyer. So I've been sitting on this, not literally, but for, you know, so to speak, because then we had Shayna, who followed directions. She did a half sheet. She did it on the back of extra paper. Shayna is a teacher through and through. She even found a cute little chart. And so when I look at this,
You
or
have to edit that part, Stuart.
I look at this, and then also, you guys at the meeting before last handed me this short shipping thing that you said was too long and too boring. So that's a page and a half. Then I myself did a 1-page graphic of at the meeting, the March meeting, when I talked too long. But I did do a graphic of that, of my the echo chamber. So and that's all pictures with a little bit of writing. So the formats are all really different. So I'd like to propose, I mean, give me input on this, but that, number one, when people write things, that they need to be a maximum of 1 page, one side. Or it could be the second side too, maybe with references. Another is that we do not want people making up stuff that's just their own opinion. We
Right.
want to be able to verify it. And so my thought is that we give an overview, like Shayna did, which I think hers is the best so far. And then we have the references where it came from. And then maybe on the back, we provide links or other sources. Because, like, Dagmar was talking to me about the 61-page congressional report on, say, TPP. Well, and you sent that to me as well. I mean, we're not going to put that at the table.
No.
And, but we can refer to it
can
if somebody
reference it,
wants to go do it, because I think what's really important, that if we have people write these things, that what we do is to, I think we have to give people enough parameters that, so that we get some consistency, at which point my thought is that I'll take these things, depending on what you tell me, and, you know, in my copious free time, and I will I will put them in some kind of a format with some kind of with just what I just said, if you give me that direction. And then after if we have an idea about what to do, then I think what we have to do as a group here is, or if we get a direction about what we want it to look like, then I would like to prioritize the topics themselves.
Carol, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was wondering, then, are you going to maybe make up like a list of guidelines for people who say, I want to do some handouts? Of
course. That, I don't have any guidelines, and that's exactly what I would do, and I would talk about.
You
yeah.
would give them like some written guidelines so they know.
Yes, right.
I want to make a comment.
Well, before you do, let me get to the end of my little
Okay.
paragraph here, I'm almost done, and then I want to hear everything. Okay, so thinking about our purpose of tabling, then it seems to me that we have some ideas, like some burning issues, that would be the topics we'd like to suggest. I am not comfortable with calling up somebody in our club and saying, what's your burning issue, write something about it. I think it's too random. I think we need to have more focus. This is Laurel speaking, but I think as a club we need to have more focus that's really directly related to our mission statement.
Well, we have to have more focus that's related to what's kind of fits under the Democratic umbrella, because I know in the past we have had a few people show up for tabling, like at the farmer's market, and they've come with an issue that's like off the wall, sort of. You know,
Right. Well, that's kind of my point, is
yeah,
that people might.
it's
Well, like the
it's-
meeting where they brought up the Social Security. And,
Oh, with Alan Lowenthal, you
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
That was off the wall.
It was a little off the wall for that setting, but
Yeah,
it was
for
good.
that
I mean,
meeting,
that
it
could be a
wasn't
burning
really the
issue
right
for an
one.
individual, that's great. But I
Sure.
mean, I think
But
that
it
if we're
is.
gonna have people write things for our club, and then me proofread them, and then hopefully you make them cute and print them, then we need to have some agreement about what it is we're asking people to write. Because I don't know the next direction.
Okay, do you guys remember the Obama posters?
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's use that as a guideline and say, Catherine, check out these posters. We could send them to her. And
Well,
can we make one on immigration reform? You know, Shayna, can we make one on whatever the topic
Yeah,
is?
well, I think that's a good way to think about it. And I mean, I think if we had a visual and if we all, but I think our club needs to put our hands in the middle and say, this is what we want to do, with a little bit of structure to start with, and pick some of the topics. And then as we get better and have a backlog and have it nicely put together, then we can add some additional topics. But I mean, obviously, TPP is a big issue, and yet to try to consolidate that, as well as by the time we get them all printed and out there, it may be over. You know, I mean, like, are there bigger issues? Is there wage? I mean, our goals are the MOVI. We need to get some MOVI stuff. You know, I would say we need to have a little more that when maybe we don't have to.
Modi's Prop 49, getting Prop 49 back on
Okay,
the ballot.
all
So
right,
we're-
and
we're
you've even
set.
written a few things, and
Yeah,
maybe we
we
could.
have flyers, we have one-page flyers.
Okay,
for that.
and then we need to have equity
It's
stuff.
really equity, yeah.
But I think the other thing is, for instance, with Moby, we're going to use what Moby's already developed, right?
That's what you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
said.
because
And-
Michelle and I work
Well,
on this
but
stuff together, yeah.
many of these issues have a group that is sort of centered
Mm-hmm.
on that has developed something. And I think we can use that material,
As long as we
because
trust
some
them.
of it's gonna, that maybe some long-term things that we can get the information on immigration probably right from Obama's website
Yes.
himself, right? And then it would be a safe topic. It's not going to go anywhere for quite a long time, so it'd be worthwhile taking some time to work on it. But other things that come up, I mean, at the height of the Ferguson stuff, having something about that police brutality might have been an issue at a table that we could have something about. But it would be a quick one that you'd have to probably get
Well,
the
my
information or
experience-
the flyers from someone else.
Well,
right?
Dagmar and I have talked about this, and I know I think her point, and I would agree, that we don't want people putting down personal opinion on these things. If they represent the club, they need to find the facts. And I will say, Catherine found the facts, and so did Shayna. And so did Short Shipping Dude, but he just made it a little too long. It
That
isn't our
doesn't
format.
really relate to our issues right now.
Right,
does it?
well,
I mean,
I'm
maybe that one's less important.
Okay,
priority,
well,
right?
that's
I
kind
mean,
of the
would
direction
suggest-
I need.
Yeah.
But see, how do we
but let
know
me
that
finish
they're
my
all-
sentence.
okay.
So what I wanted to say is that a lot of the stuff from these other coalition groups, because I've started looking at a few things, they're like 5 pages long. They're not what Yes We Can would do is at a table that would say, where we'd be able to talk about it and say, oh, you're interested in immigration? Well, this isn't immigration, this is unions. Well, one of our members did a summary, and hopefully people tabling would be able to summarize it, but say, look, this is where you find out more. You know, we make a big deal out of that. But a lot of the stuff that I've seen from the other groups are,
You're right.
I
you're
don't
right.
think that we can just take
Yeah.
it
Okay.
and do it because it doesn't really look like our stuff.
Carol,
Yeah, a couple things. Once we do get, several made, those can serve as models. I think it'll be
Sure.
easier because they can,
Right.
you can say,
Yes.
here's one that we came up with on immigration, that's a good guideline for you. That's
Right.
one thing. Second thing, you're talking about the groups that we're working with. I know that the Coalition for
Long Beach,
Is that right?
good job.
building
Good job,
healthy
Bill.
community.
Yeah.
they really need a shorter name. That they're currently trying to come up with a fact sheet for their campaign about sexual assault, but right now their lawyers are scrutinizing it. So it's not ready yet, but that will be available eventually.
That would be a great
And
source.
then the third thing, which was a very good piece of news, when we were at the convention, there was a professor from UC Berkeley who works in the labor section, and he has a website, and they have documents and graphs and things about,
Yeah.
like the minimum wage. If you raise the minimum wage, does that make prices go up? Do people really lose jobs? Some of the facts about these things that we currently are talking about. And so I think that would be an excellent source, and that's a reliable source. You can say where you got it, and it's a public source. We're free to download and print out any of their graphs or fact
Yeah, that's
sheets.
great. That's also good. That would be good for me to share.
Dagmar.
I mean, the only thing that I kind of worry a little bit about, I think you're right, absolutely, on having things with links and with giving credit to wherever the information came from, or getting it from some source that we can trust, like Obama's website, or maybe the Healthy
Berkeley, yeah.
Jobs one, or
yeah.
but just to have all of us, we have to be really careful, because it's like writing a term paper, and some people get A's and some get C's. We just got 2 A's. We were lucky, and maybe, but none of us knows enough detail to know if they were wrong, right? And then you just gave the example of minimum wage. I actually researched that topic and wrote a paper on that for my master's, my MBA.
Then what was cited.
And I gotta tell you, you can prove anything. There's statisticians and liars and damn liars. No, there's liars, damn liars, and statisticians.
All right, but you're
yeah,
actually.
I mean, it's.
You're making the point.
I would take it from a UC Berkeley professor, because then we attribute it to him, and he's got credibility, right?
All right, but
And
this
you also,
but
she
this-
also mentioned lawyers checking it. In some cases, you need
Yeah,
lawyers
I will
to
let
check
someone-
things.
Okay, let's
right?
have one more question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's
Yeah.
one website I want to bring to all of your attention, and I had sent it, if you
Yeah.
recall, when I was pulling out best resources for equity.
Yeah.
Lane has an amazing
Yeah, we
investigative
will
journalistic website about this whole equity issue, and
Oh.
it is chock full of powerful graphs, powerful graphics, stories you can tell, and I think it's called like State in Maine. That's not quite right. It's like I'll find it and I'm going to send it to you all. I want you to
Yeah.
really look at it, because when you see it, you're going to go, oh my God, this is fabulous stuff. I mean, there is chock full of, and I really trust Lane. I think that they
Yeah,
got their
no,
shit
that's
together.
right. And they've had lawyers look at it.
And it's by investigative journalists that are writing stories about Judy Smith and what happened to Judy. I mean, our people could be reading that stuff and say, hey, did you hear about the story of Judy Smith and
Okay,
how she blah,
but
blah,
you
blah.
guys, time out.
Whatever.
There is no dearth, love that word, dearth, no dearth of sources and places where we can find out about democratic issues to share with our members. There is, you guys have given great ideas. I've been looking up things myself. My issue is, how do I even know how to start with any of our members unless we have prioritized as a group here about what we want to start working on. I cannot just pick, just a second, Maria. I can't start just in the middle of things. I need some direction about what you think is most important. Maria.
I think we should look at our strategy slam and the issues that we discussed in our
Right.
strategy slam. and
Okay,
make
so
that
what
the
are they?
priority.
Come on, guys, I don't know, I mean, that sounds great, but we have echo chamber, short shipping, immigration, and unions. So far, the only one that fits it is unions,
The
right?
short shipping
Well,
wasn't in the
immigration.
equity, right?
Yeah, no, that was just an extra little.
I know, I'm saying, what I have in front of me, I'm sorry to be frustrated about it, but, you know, we just need to focus and talk about the
I have a
issue.
suggestion, and I think we go back to our minutes for that
Yeah.
meeting, where we, actually, it's the
Well,
meeting
they're
after that
listed
one,
there.
where we
Yeah,
talk about, okay, we had the strategy slam,
All right.
here's the topics, and just take like the top 4 topics and say.
it's not quite that direct, because I did go back and check out those minutes, and that is when we did it. But, you know,
Yes, Carol.
The members reviewed the 9 issues they had selected at their previous meeting and
Right.
then voted on which issues they will work on first. It was decided that they would begin the year by working on living wage and wage theft and affordable and safe housing.
That's good.
all right, is that what you want then?
Let's do that.
And I can find you, and I'm
Well,
happy to help. I will
living
send
wage.
some information about
That
those
was
topics to
January
you, that
8th.
you will be able
Okay.
to put something together.
And I will
It's
help you
unbelievable.
make it all.
Well, I mean, if I have, this is good. Living wage, what was the second one?
Wage theft.
Okay, yeah, because I had those as well on my other sheet, but
affordable-
that's actually
affordable
what
safe
Catherine
housing.
was said she was gonna write about, but in the last one,
Affordable
affordable
and safe
housing. Okay,
And I'm just gonna send you some stuff from State Maine that only relate to those things, and I think if we work together, we can just pull together something really wonderful.
I think when you and I worked on that PowerPoint thing, you know, we collaborated pretty well, and I'm kind of thinking this might actually be a good PowerPoint thing for us, if we can, you know, combine this stuff into a pleasing graphic that can be, you know, how people take a PowerPoint and they download, like, make flyers off of it. I
Yeah.
think we can do that.
I'm gonna pull some-
okay, so so again, let me clarify, because I always walk away from these meetings and I'm never quite sure what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't think I'm stupid, but I just somehow I don't get it. So what you guys want me to do then is you want me to start researching, people sending me some ideas of these topics, and then find 3 members, like we did before in our group, who will, hopefully 3 people, who will be willing to go out and research that with my guidance and using the Obama things like we did. I like that format.
Make a template,
Uh-huh.
a guideline.
Right. And then the idea that I had was that there would be a maximum of 1 page with some charts and graphs with the overview, and all must include references or links. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then, so by next meeting, by 2 meetings from now, do you want these things done, or do we do it whenever? And I can't,
No, we need a deadline.
all right, and I can't, even though Catherine's it needs to be spiffed up somehow, and it's not really, immigration reform is very important, but it's not one of the things
Can
we
we
just.
do one at the next meeting? At the next general meeting, was there enough time to produce one of these pieces of tabling material to present at the general meeting?
Are you talking about June 4th?
Yes.
Probably, but I'm gonna be in Palo Alto because my granddaughter is being promoted from 5th grade.
Can you do your part and then pass it on to like me for the next part to make it all?
I can certainly try. So
Okay.
you want something on living wage, wage theft,
Just pick one.
affordable or
Yeah.
safe housing,
Yeah.
and have a mock-up. So then, and then in the meantime, you want me not to do short shipping,
No.
Yeah,
but I need to fix up,
What I would like is a guideline for everybody's papers from you, and then use that, apply to it to the very first flyer that we do.
Okay, so does this visually look like what we're interested in
I like that.
from Shayna?
I could make that work.
Because
What is the topic?
the title, why voting for candidates who support unions can save and enlarge the middle class?
That's an equity issue.
Yeah, it
Let's
is.
do it.
And again, it goes with living wage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's, this is teachery, but this is what people pay attention to.
Yeah.
Stuart's smiling, but he knows what I'm talking about. Why should you care about unions? Because if you care about the middle class, you need to care about unions. Looking at the chart below, as union membership decreased, the middle class has shrunk. And then she gives reasons, and then she has another statement about percentages about where they were, and therefore voting for candidates that support unions will minimize the chasm between the 1% and the 99%. I think it's pretty straightforward. I like it. So, I mean, to me, this is the model. I'll be happy to,
Your senators were terrific to me.
Sorry,
all right. Okay, I think I have direction. Guidelines and one sample for the June meeting that I will have to send to somebody else. That's just next week. No, that's 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I'm good.
I know.
I'm good.
It's coming up really
I can do that. Okay, great. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Are there any other comments to make about, or suggestions for materials for tabling? Okay, so here's the thing. We're gonna start talking about the convention, but while this video is playing, I'm gonna get out some stuff and be walking around and just kind of passing out some stuff that we got at the convention. So these are some of the stickers that were there.
Cool.
Here's the deal, there's a lot of people that you see right there,
I like this.
but they only really came to see Elizabeth Warren speak, okay? At the other times, there were not a lot of people sitting there.
So there were a lot of people at this
At this particular
event.
moment of this weekend, there they were.
So tell us your impression of the entire
Okay,
thing. Give
my
us an
impression
overview and
was-
then
The first thing that we went to was Friday morning, and we went to the MO, which is the mobilization thing that.
it's like a database system.
Remember Van? Remember how we used to?
Yeah,
Remember how we had that thing in this very office?
Right.
It's like
Right.
Mo is
And we had
Van.
all those charts and stuff,
Well, it's
and you were like running the software to see how we could cut precincts and have like paper that we could output. That was cool. This is even better. There's no papel,
There's no what?
paper.
Oh,
Papel?
It is papel.
Papel.
Paper. No
Espanol.
more trees. What you do is you take your smartphone and you call it up on your smartphone. Everything is mobile oriented. The new Mo is going to be so awesome. And I've already put in, can we please get it? Because you can only get it if you're a Dem Club.
Oh.
Okay, so hopefully I'll be getting an email pretty soon here.
So
that
what it
says-
does is you say, well, we want to walk Bixby Knolls from Atlantic to Carson or whatever, and then you.
Yeah,
you can
depending
say-
on your region,
it'll tell you
depending
which
on who
houses
the
to
candidate
knock.
is, you can totally customize this to be whatever you want it to be. Okay? It can be a canvas for a single candidate, it could be something for an issue, it could be geared towards specific kinds of voters. You're going to get all of the information about the voter on your phone. And the other thing is, there's a built-in customizable survey. So, would you like to vote for Robert Garcia? You do want to vote for Robert Garcia. Okay, great. Would you like to volunteer? It has like a logical.
And you're punching things
question,
in?
yeah.
Yeah, you're putting in the answers, and unlike when we were phone banking, and it would say, if they say yes, then skip to, number 20, or if they say no, skip to number 40, it automatically does it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not like
If you
fumbling.
mention yes, then it shows you the next question to ask them.
Oh.
Or if they say no,
Wow.
then it's like, thank you for your time,
Very good.
see you later. But if they're positive,
Okay,
then it's like,
but now
you want a
here's
yard
the deal.
sign.
Let me
Hold on,
just-
let me finish this thing, right?
Okay, sure.
So, okay, you're doing your canvas, you're walking around with your mobile phone, you can do that. But let's say you don't want to walk around with the mobile phone. You don't want a canvas. You'd rather phone bank. You can use the same software, sitting in a chair, in front of a computer, like when we phone banked, and do it right off of the box.
And the answers are immediately recorded. You don't have to have some person laboriously, going through all those pages.
Yeah.
Recording the
Which is great.
answers, they go back immediately, and someone can see it. You have it, by the end of the day, so.
Can you get
It's really quick.
your own results from it in addition to having it go into a centralized place?
I don't know if they
You can
identify
download
who it
the
came
data.
from.
Yes,
Can
you
can.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
And what's
that
it called exactly?
becomes important.
M-O-E.
MOE.
It probably stands for
It's short
Mobilize
for
and-
mobilize.
mobilize.
I
forgot what. you know, I have
Organizational
all that on the-
enterprises.
Kent, where's that
Something
document that I typed up that I
electors.
forgot to copy? I have all of that on that document.
Okay,
What were you gonna ask for?
well, I was just gonna comment that,
It's chair.
Sorry.
okay, so what I wanna comment about, just real quickly, is the fact that we all get all these phone calls, and whether somebody is on their cell phone or on their whatever, I absolutely categorically do not answer any phone call at home now, because I get this long thing like we all do, unless it's somebody I know. And in fact, I don't even answer when it says private caller. Dagmar used to call me on a number private caller, I never answered that either, until I heard it. So I don't answer. And I can't be alone in this. And so, to me,
I don't answer you.
if I'm calling
Neither do
from
I.
if I'm calling a phone bank, and I'm not talking about going face to face, because that sounds really helpful and good. But, you know, there's so much information on all of us now, and so many of these, I mean, I get, occasionally I'm home, like, most part of the day, I get no fewer than like 5 solicitation calls that I never answer. Or at least numbers I don't know. So I don't know. I think my point is that I'm kind of worried about this next cycle of people not answering their phones to take
Well,
the.
then it's knock on doors in, but I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
hear about the convention.
Well,
Okay,
Well, I
Before we
wanna,
have to leave.
okay.
a question on that, can
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
well, just, you know, I was thinking about the phone, but are you guys on Facebook at all? You know,
Yeah.
the whole thing of Barbie Summers, a friend of Stella, and she's not really young, I mean, she's young compared to me, but I was thinking of youth, they really do read those posts and
Yeah.
like the Green Prize and
Yes.
all that stuff.
Yes, they do.
And that's really good. And the other thing is, it seems like we sort of left out environment, and younger people seem to be more interested in the environment.
You know what, let me talk about the convention. People are way concerned with the environment, young people especially.
Yeah.
There was a booth that was populated by, there weren't any older people, they were all young people. And see that orange bag? They were handing out that orange bag. Could you hold that up, Laurel, please? They
Sure.
had orange T-shirts with that logo.
Okay.
They had orange buttons with that logo. This is that rich billionaire guy.
Capital
Oh,
who
Tom
is-
Steyer,
Yeah.
yeah, capital climate change.
What's his
And
name?
Tom Steyer.
Star, right.
It was Next Gen Climate. That's their tagline, okay? And these guys, in my opinion, had the best looking booth in the whole place. They were giving out kind bars to people. You guys know what kind bars
Yeah,
and
yeah,
snack
right.
bars?
Yeah, they're great.
And the people that were working the booth were totally knowledgeable about the subject. It wasn't like some smiling young person going, oh, okay, here you go. They were willing to sit there and talk to you about it. Now, here's one down part about the exhibitor hall. There were hardly any exhibitors.
Huh.
Yeah, I was really underwhelmed by this. I was like, where is everybody? Oh,
So
maybe
where
they'll-
were?
Maybe they'll be
Did
there
you talk to
Saturday.
Julian about that?
Hold on, maybe
Okay.
they'll be there Saturday, right? So Saturday, same damn thing. So I see Sharon Weissman there. Saw a lot of people there, and I say, hey Sharon, how's it going? And you know, where's all the booths? Is this like how it usually is? Because this is my first convention. Right? She goes, no, it's not. They charge too much money. They wanted $1,500 to have a booth at the. I just thought, whoa, what club or what group is gonna be able to come up with that dough, right? I mentioned this to somebody else, somebody I don't know that just happened to be hanging around, and I was like, yeah, man, these booths are too expensive. That's why there aren't a lot of booths. And this guy goes, oh, you know, the Republicans, they charge like $250 for their exhibitor booths, and they have tons of them. And I thought, that's cool, because they're able to give stuff away, like bags, like shirts, like
They have more
hats,
billionaires.
like,
They have more
Well, but
billionaires
yeah,
to
because
fund
then the
them.
Republican Party is paying for the
Well-
room and only charging the groups $250
I think it's
instead of,
called,
the Democrats decided not to
Buying.
put that much money into it.
definitely need a lower price for the booths, so that people can be out there, you know, with their stuff. Now, there was this Bernie Sanders stuff was everywhere. I mean, the entire convention, Everywhere you went, there was a sticker, there was a flyer, there was a button, there was everything. Bernie Sanders.
PDA.
Not one single, I'm not lying, one single
Hillary.
Hillary Clinton sticker, button, hat,
Wow.
nothing. I thought for sure, okay, I was ready to get my Hillary stuff. Nada. Absolutely.
Why do you think?
Very interesting.
Why do you think?
I don't know. I do not know. That is a big mystery to me. I have no idea.
I think it's because she is just accepted, yeah, she's gonna run, so there's no enthusiasm around her. Whereas the people who support Elizabeth Warren, the people who support Bernie,
Bernie.
they are
I think that's
enthusiastic.
exactly right.
They
'cause
are out there handing out stuff and talking about their campaign.
Bernie's, you know, I mean, he is pretty well-spoken, but they're fired up. Because
And
that
why are they
grassroots-
fired up, Phil?
grassroots.
Why are they fired up?
Because Bernie's something to be
Because this
fired
is
up
an
about.
issue year.
Yeah.
Because he talks about the issues, he talks about equity, he talks about getting the money out of politics. The two things that we came up with in the strategy slam, that was the buzz at this convention.
Well,
The
good.
word progressive, that rolled off everybody's mouth. And I thought to myself, where's the progressives? Where are they? Is the Democratic Party just giving lip service to progressives? What's going on? Elizabeth Warren, who everybody just thought was a rock star, her speech was a popular speech.
Yeah.
It was a progressive speech. I'll share these videos with you guys, but John, what's his name? John Chang, our treasurer guy?
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
That guy,
Yeah.
another popular speech. So my feeling about this convention is that, okay, we're all Democrats, we're all under this big tent, but it's really the progressives that have the momentum, the enthusiasm. They're the ones that are excited. They're the ones that want to make things happen. And yet I see this kind of like tension between the straight line Democrats. I'm not going to call them moderates because they're not moderates, but
Corporate
yes,
Democrats.
that's a good one. That's a good way to describe it.
Corporate? I don't think
No, I don't
they're
think they're
Corporate.
corporate.
I think, no, actually I do, and I'll tell you why. I'll say why I think this. We met a gentleman, Ray Bishop. I don't know if you guys have heard of Ray Bishop, but I know you've heard about the CDC. I think it was last year, Carol and I went to a workshop for better practices for Democratic clubs, sponsored by the CDC.
California
that-
Democratic
California
Party.
Democratic Club, huh?
Right, it's about Dem clubs, okay?
Mhm.
And this guy, Michael, I think his last name is Curry, was the prez at the time. But he didn't, he kind of like dropped out of that because he decided to run for school board, so he couldn't do that at the same time. So this other guy, Ray Bishop, became the president of the CDC. Now, for some reason, I don't know what the backstory is on this, but we met Ray Bishop and he talked to us about how upset he was that Hillary Crosby, who is the controller for the Democratic Party of California, basically told him that he couldn't be the president of this thing. He couldn't do this.
I don't think that was for president of CDC, that was a while ago. He was president of the Small Business Caucus.
No, it
Didn't
was the
she interrupt the
CDC.
caucus
She
meeting?
took him out of being in control of what Michael had been doing, because Michael had to leave to go run for school board, and Ray became the guy, and she said, no, you're not gonna do it. And he was really upset at that, and he was going to petition that very day at the business caucus to say, you can't do that. You have to, you're going against the bylaws here. This is not right. So that was the first little taste of this like corporate kind of slam, because Hillary's about, she's the money lady for the Dem Party. And I think she made herself the president of the CDC and just kind of went like that.
That was one of her people.
And that's sad, because the CDC, the Dem clubs, that's us, you guys. That's the people that are the troops, the grassroots
The thing
workers.
that he was told by Hillary and also Eric Bauman, I think, is that the Dem clubs are no longer that important. The caucuses are not that important. That's
Dem
news to us, and that, the caucuses are the various interest groups, and those are the people speaking.
Those are the people.
Well, then
And
who
those
are
the-
in his plan,
those
who
are the
is important?
Who's
Hillary.
important? The people donating lots of money to the party.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting thing, just because you know, I read Daily Coast and so does Cindy, and the split between the regular Dems and the real progressive Dems has never been more obvious than it is
Yes.
right now.
Exactly.
And it's a little scary, really, and I don't, you know, where we are. And you know, you read Daily Coast over any topic now. You let the president go on and do his weekly speech, and you've got hate speech from progressives about our president.
Some of those people are Republicans, you know.
Yeah,
just so
I
you
know, no, I know, but I mean, you can't have like,
Yeah.
no, yeah, well, no, you know that too, but
Yeah.
you know that I'm not saying it wrong. I mean, there are people.
I just wanted to mention that, because that's, you
Well,
know,
but
it's very
names
hard.
over and over and over.
You just think all those people are real people doing, and some of them
Right.
are Republicans that are
They're
trying to
being
stir
paid
up.
by the big
stir
money.
up-
Or they
Yeah,
could just
so-
be
They do that,
trolls. They could be trolls.
Yeah, they're
Trolls.
trolls, I mean,
Yeah,
they are.
right, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that names that I recognize over the last 7 years of reading this on a real regular basis are people, you know, names that have been around a while. They hate President Obama, and they hate their attitude is, well, he's corporate, you're corporate, you know, why are you doing that? It's like corporate, and of course we all hate the corporations, but nonetheless, the split, and I won't go into any further, but I was real interested to hear you guys say what your impression was about the Democratic Party as a party, and if it's going to help us, because
the Dem Party.
because if they're there and they're supporting Bernie, if all those people are there and the majority are supporting Bernie and Elizabeth,
Elizabeth Warren was the rock star of this particular weekend. Barney Frank was there also, Nancy Pelosi was there, you know, but
Well-
it was all about Elizabeth Warren. And what I'm saying to you is that the Bernie Sanders people were really enthusiastic, and they were all over that place. There was no
yeah.
sign of Hillary.
Well, I don't
What
know
if-
if they were, but as far as numbers, you know, she's trying to find out if they were a majority. I wouldn't say that
No.
they were anywhere near
No.
a majority.
Clearly
but they
not.
were
So then the
just
other people
active
are-
and noisy.
okay, but I just
Yes.
saying, what is the direction of the Democratic Party based on being an observing delegate?
My opinion of that was DEM was donate every month. That was the big deal. The colors
To
of
whom? To whom? To
The
the
Democratic
To the
Party.
party.
Well,
They
there
had-
are
they
like
had a
3 or
booth- they
4
had a
of
booth
them.
Was it
for
to
that,
Hillary
yeah.
or to Bernie?
no.
No,
to
the
the
National
party.
Democratic
Party.
Party, to the Democratic Party.
To do what? What did they say?
DEM, the colors of the DEM logo were the colors that Hillary Crosby wore on stage.
Wow.
Green,
And they have a whole
Blue.
booth to
Well,
get
so
people
what is
signed
it
up
supposed to
every
do
month.
for you?
donate every month.
Okay,
It's
you
DEM,
donate
2016.
every month. What is it supposed to do for you?
You get some pens.
No, it's not for
No,
you,
serious.
it's for the party, you're giving
It's
money
for
so
the
they'll
party.
spend money on their.
I know,
candidates.
but what
You've
is-
gotta
didn't they-
have
didn't they
that
talk
to
ab-
win an election.
But didn't they talk about what they're doing with that money? What they're supposed to do? I mean, these are the party faithful,
Well,
right? They're
they're
sitting
paying
there.
for, they should be paying for advertisement, they should be paying for
That's
events.
what it's for.
they-
Did they talk about
You're a
that?
sustaining member.
Or did you
have
get
to
it?
do that.
When
for-
you go to the booth and say, okay, if I donate monthly, what happens? Exactly what Dagmar just said. That's what it's for.
Okay, they did say,
But the
all
You're
I'm
a sustaining member now of the California Democratic Party.
That's
And
pol-
in,
that's
and in
politics.
appreciation for that, you'll get like a little kit of some pens and some letterhead and some, yeah, I know.
It's
It's
the
like,
Koch
Yeah, but
brothers.
that's not the big issue.
Well,
The
no,
big
it's
issue
not the
is
Koch
that-
brothers, it's the party
Since-
itself, just like the
Yeah.
Right,
Republican
no, I know,
parties.
but
I
we
mean-
need to pay money so that we
Yeah,
can
the
beat
party
the
needs- the party
Republicans.
needs money.
Right,
Which is
exactly.
Koch
Okay,
brothers.
Okay, okay,
We're
yeah.
Koch
still-
brothers
right,
not
right.
supporting us.
well, see, I mean,
The bigger issue is that ever since Citizens United, the Republicans were getting megabucks from people, and the Democrats said, how are we going to keep up?
Right.
How are we gonna run a campaign against these people unless we get a lot of money too? And so they're now, you know, forced to play the same game, and that is very sad. And so I was convinced more than ever, and if we had listened to the end of Elizabeth Warren's speech, I don't know if we have time, that was a huge thing at the end of her speech. You know, get rid of Citizens United, overturn
she
Citizens
said,
United.
I've got one more thing I want to say. She built it up to the last point, and she talked about overturning Citizens United and getting the money out of politics, because she sees that it's ruining
It
our
is.
political system. And I'm going to tell you, from my experience here, It's not good for our party.
It depresses the
No, it's
vote,
not.
first of
So
all,
it's not good
having
for
all
any
those
party,
ads.
because they all mean the same
Having
thing.
all those ads depresses the vote, because people go, oh, he's a jerk, she's a jerk, I'm not voting,
We
it's
went-
a waste of my time.
And they do that on purpose.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Do you have the little list of the ones that we went to? We went to the Latino caucus, okay? This is where Loretta Sanchez and Kamala Harris came in, and Mr. Becerra too, he came in to speak about, you know, what they, Becerra actually kind of hinted that he was going to run. He did everything but
running
just
for
come
the
For
out,
Janice Harms.
yeah,
Oh,
for
for
Janice
the-
Oh, for
Hans.
Rep,
Janice
for
Hans.
representative.
Okay.
Right, and, actually, no.
Or no, for Senate.
For Senate,
For
sorry,
Senate.
US
Barbara
Senate.
Boxer.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Barbara.
Yeah.
So
Barbara
he
Boxer.
almost, I mean, it was like, he was this close. But Eric Bauman came out and spoke and told the Latino caucus, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Everybody's pumped up, you know, you guys are gonna be like ruling the state of California, Latinos are coming up. And don't get bogged down in the bylaws, don't get bogged down in the rules. And I was like, oh my God, my eyes twitching, this is Eric Bauman saying this. But
What
then I
bylaws
thought
is he
about,
concerned about? What bylaws would be
The
getting in the
bylaws
way?
of
Well, if
the
you
caucus.
just get too wound up in your procedures and can you do this or can you do that, instead of being
So it's-
mostly oriented, 99% oriented should be to the events
Knock
and
on
to
doors.
the things we're doing.
yeah, see,
not
but
to
it also, it
bylaws.
was like this
Yeah.
kind of weird suggestion to like, you know, these are the rules, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. Because every caucus that we went
That
to,
makes sense.
there was strict adherence to the bylaws, you know, I mean, that's the rule. You have to do things a certain way. And I think that he seemed like he was almost kind of frustrated that they were even concentrating on that or talking about that. Or,
Well, there's so many issues. I think the issues that become really, really critical, it's who controls a party. And, you know, at every single level, there are people who want to control, and it's political.
watching the
And-
process was very, very interesting to see.
And then this endorsement
Yes.
thing is huge.
know,
It's absolutely
we didn't
huge, right?
Oh my God.
That was at
most
9:30 at
important
night. We
one.
didn't
Oh
get
my
it.
God.
No, it
What?
wasn't. It was
What?
not the most important
Which
one.
one?
The most important one was the Latino one. That was the most
Yeah,
important.
because that's where
Use the
Democrats
biggest.
can get more votes.
Yeah.
Or lose them.
Yeah.
Because if the
Right.
Republicans, especially
Are
if
very-
Jeb runs and he can go around.
Speaking
talking.
of
All of
Janice
them turn bad on
Hahn,
immigration.
there was-
Kidding.
Well, the
There was
other
a-
thing is,
Yeah.
Latinos can be pretty conservative, all that.
Yes,
stuff,
exactly.
background and, you know, but not right now, but if people can twist it. They were trying to get a little.
George Bush was able to.
Yeah, but now
there
the
are
dreamers
a
and all
couple
that.
Yeah,
of
the
people
dreamers,
that stood out for me at the Latino caucus at the end, and they were talking about running for Janice Hahn's seat because, you know, she's bailing out on that. And this is the 44th district,
Mhm.
and Isadore Hall,
Oh, yeah, that was
who
all
is-
arranged.
who is, I guess, endorsed by Robert Garcia,
And a whole
spoke.
list of people.
Oh, yeah, and he came in, he had like a little bow tie, he was really very elegantly dressed, and when he got to the mic, he was like, ah, he just screamed, and everybody was like, whoa, you know, like your hair blew back, and he pretty much gave like this kind of rah-rah, I'm so great kind of speech. But then there was this other woman who is a Hermosa Beach councilwoman who's been almost single-handedly staving off the big petro industry, the big
I've read
oil
about her.
interest.
What's her name?
Her name is
Nanette.
Nanette Barragan.
Yeah.
The one you
She's
sent
a
me video
small,
of.
slight woman,
Uh-huh.
and she was so direct and
And that's what we
firm
need,
and
yeah.
committed, and talked about what she has been doing on the Hermosa Beach City Council to keep these guys from drilling in Hermosa Beach, and how she's been putting up with all this pressure, but how that she is not going to let up.
She was at the environmental caucus as
Mhm.
well.
She was there at, what was it, we were there at like 9 in the
She's
morning?
running
Yeah.
against Isadore
But
Hall.
here,
And then she spoke at the Latino caucus, which was like 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
and she was there, and she just kept on
But
track.
here's the worry.
No
It seems- it
flash,
seems
no
like the-
pretense,
It
just
seems like
kept
the
going.
machine really likes that
Yes.
Isadore guy.
You talked to Julian Berger about him. He hates Isadore, and that whole back recalls
Okay,
a
but
backroom
if the
deal.
party officially backs
Yeah, but I'm
him,
just
That's
saying.
the real
It's a good
Yeah.
time.
It's a
Shame.
problem.
But here was another thing
She's
that,
the better one.
in my mind, I just went, wow, this is another corporate kind of thing going on here. There
But,
is a
um,
clear divide.
Can I make one quick announcement before Phil leaves?
Yes.
I
Okay,
guess he's leaving.
Laurel,
He has to go to the airport.
he has to go to the airport.
run in.
Laurel.
My
Laurel, I
foster
thought-
child is coming at 9.
Oh.
Go ahead, Carol, go ahead.
Laurel, I thought of you, because here's the thing, Alec, you know?
Yeah.
Our worst enemy, Alec, they're having a meeting in San Diego on July 21st. And when we found this out, we were like, we're going, we're gonna
Okay.
go picket that thing. And we were right next to this woman named Maureen Sweeney, who is, president, I guess, of her
I
Dem
don't know,
Club
keep
in the
going.
San Diego area, Rancho Santa Fe, I think. And so she said, we've got to set this up. We've got to have like couch surfing for Dem Club members to come down and protest at this event.
Okay,
So,
Yes.
we'll go.
so we've got
We'll
her
go.
email address. We're
Okay.
connected,
We gotta
July
Good.
21st.
July
Put on your
21st.
calendars.
21st.
We're gonna go protest Alec.
Okay,
Yay.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I will.
Good, yeah.
Oh, yes, I will. Alex, Alex
Like
is like,
Rancho Mirage.
Yeah, right.
too.
Brought your Raj too.
Okay, so that was another part, that was another moment where I just had that sinking feeling, I was like, oh man, why are we doing this? Why are we arguing about this kind of stuff?
well, wait, which thing are you just referring to? The feeling about
difference
the
between
Isadora,
Isadora
okay,
Hall
Yeah,
And
and the
then-
better
And the
candidate,
better candidate.
which is not being backed by the party, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't elect her, you know what I'm saying?
I want
That's
to
what
work for
primaries
that
are,
woman.
that's what primaries are for. You can't just say, oh, well, the
Yeah,
party
but-
wants Isadora,
I know,
she's
but that's
better.
politics.
Yeah, but I'm just
But
saying.
yeah,
And like
it kinda
Carol said,
reminded
it's
me-
the machine versus.
Yeah.
All right, but what do we do about it, though? That the thing is,
I think we go out and we support candidates like
Right.
Nanette Barragon instead of Isadora Hall. I
Yes,
think
we
we
can't-
should. We should support the
We
ones
can't
we're in
endorse though,
favor
we
of.
can't do anything official.
Well, maybe we can go help her make
Yeah,
some
we
phone
can.
calls and
Yeah,
stuff
we
like
can.
We
that.
can't endorse in a primary when there's a Democrat running against a Democrat, I don't think.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can, we used to be able to.
No,
Well,
they
we
need to
can
look
do
at our
that.
bylaws,
We
but,
we messed around with
Oh.
that.
yeah, we're not doing that. But I mean, just as
But
people, we
you
can
know,
do
now
that.
in all this discussion, what you can really see is the importance of having the candidates who have successfully become president have had their own organization, right?
right, well,
And I say good ones. And that Obama, I mean, I read a book about Jimmy Carter. He's
Right,
one of the
yeah.
first people to figure that out.
Right.
And Clinton definitely did. And we know how good the organization for Obama was super, super good. And so whoever our candidate is, they've got to have that ability to get that kind of organization. Otherwise, I think when you get all wound up in the machine and all that stuff, I mean, you're dissipating a lot of your strength. I mean, as Democrats, we practically throw away a lot of elections, I think, because we get involved in these inner conflicts and.
And yet that's what a primary is for. You have a choice. Why not have the right to make a choice?
There
Well,
was
yeah,
some-
because it's the only
They're
place.
two Dems, you know.
If you're a Democrat, it's the only place
Yeah.
as a
I think I'm gonna
Democrat you really have a choice because you're never going to
Yeah.
vote for a Republican.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So why
Yeah.
shouldn't you get involved? In
Well, because the parties run things.
No, I'm jumping
No,
out of a
the
Democratic
parties
club.
do.
Well,
run
okay,
things.
so-
They do
so-
But
run
I'm just
things.
saying, I don't have to be a Democratic club member anymore. I think I may drop out after this, honest to
I
God.
have to tell you, there
Well,
were
we
a lot
can
of
have
people.
influence. We can have influence.
There were a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
not
people.
much.
That's one of the things that Chris is very, very heavy about is
Yeah.
that he was sickened by seeing the endorsement stuff that was going on.
They never
Yeah.
trade, when you talk
Yeah.
to Julian Berger, he was there before the
Yeah.
Dem clubs even existed, and he said from the beginning, they've never treated Dem clubs properly. And your point was, whatever, they used to like us, they even like us less now, right? They're
Well,
not
it's
giving
like
us
we
any
just don't
respect.
matter
We don't
because
matter.
this is why, because Citizens United has upped the level of moneyed
No, that's right.
interest so much.
that's right, and if we get
that
that
our
money
little
out, we're
piddly
gonna matter
Voter
again.
registration
Yeah.
table and bringing in a little, doesn't mean anything to these guys.
Right, that's
And
why-
that's what's so tragic, you know?
Right,
But thankfully, people like Elizabeth Warren, who you can hear, she understands this. And if she were to run for president, I mean, I'd be dropping everything and go to work for Elizabeth Warren. But that's the kind of message I need to hear. That really gave me hope.
Do you feel that strongly about Bernie? If they were both up on the stage, would
I think that, oh God, that would be my wet dream, is to have both of them running, as a ticket. That would be an amazing thing. Just
That's
drop
the
everything and
vernacular,
go
you
work
know.
for them.
is that in the,
Oh,
He's got
Mr.
it
Burton,
recorded.
here's another aside that
weird guy.
Mr. Burton, John Burton,
Yeah.
who's like the leader of what is he, the chairman of the Dem Party?
Yes.
Something like that.
He's an
yeah.
old guy,
Yeah,
okay?
he's been around
He
forever.
introduced
But-
Warren, right? He's one that introduced it.
he said my fucking hero,
Yeah.
and then introduced her, and I was like,
He said that?
Yeah.
the F word.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's a weirdo.
I'm gonna use
He's not
language
great.
that my grandmother would be proud of. And I'm like, really? Your grandma would be proud of? It was the weirdest introduction, and Elizabeth comes out like all,
Like,
yeah, but, you know,
Fucking hero.
strange.
yeah.
Did
Heroin, he should have said heroin.
Pelosi spoke, and she was really
Who?
good.
Yeah.
Who was
Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. I have these. I'll make these available to you guys.
So what did Pelosi say about all this?
Pelosi
what was
spoke
her-
before Elizabeth Warren,
the
and
gist,
she
the
reminded
gist.
the gist of her thing was, remember why you're Democrats. Understand that what you guys do out there, you workers, you grassroots activists, is
You clubs.
why we are here today. We couldn't have done this without you. We couldn't have had a Democratic president and achieved all this stuff without you. So she's, rallying.
There you go. See, she just gave us credibility again.
Well, there was major credibility at the convention, I'm not saying that there was no credibility. I'm just saying that it was very obvious to me that there's this division. There's this, like, the progressives and the Democrats.
Yeah, I agree
And I
with you.
worry about
I
this.
am worried about it too, and I'm really,
Did you
And
see
so you have-
Michelle?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
what did you say?
I saw
went to see if she
Michelle.
saw
Michelle
And
Sutter.
Mary Beth-
I
Mary Beth.
saw Mary Beth Fielder from Movi.
Were they doing stuff? They were
They-
supposed to test.
Mary Beth was sitting at a lonely little table in the hall with her
Because they're delegates for the
petitions.
first time. They've never been delegates, and the two of them both got in.
But I don't know if you saw her tweet or her Facebook post. She was very hopeful after listening to Elizabeth Warren because, like we said, she saved the
Who
Overturned
was?
Citizens
Mary
United thing
Beth.
at the end. Mary Beth.
Mhm.
But
Did you talk to Michelle?
yeah, I talked to Michelle briefly, who gave us some Prop 49
Yeah.
stuff. They're
That's-
very
that's
good
the
about
one.
We
it.
also saw the most interesting man.
Oh, yes.
The most
I know him.
influential man.
I went to
Influential
dinner.
man, that's
I
the
went
guy.
to dinner with the most influential.
Ah.
But
when I
I'm
was
gonna
at
tell you
Sister
something.
Giant.
We were walking from the parking lot to find some food, okay? Because we didn't want to eat inside the little food court thing that they had there. So we're walking along the outside, and we see this guy, and he's got this beautiful Shepherd Ferry shirt on, right? The 28th Amendment thing, and I've got my bitchin' button, and he's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey," right? So
Who
then
was
he
that?
tells us, I'm the most influential man.
Oh,
I'm like, "Oh my God,
It's you!
it's
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
name
it's
is
two
John
boys with him. We
Preston.
just ran into him.
John
It was really
Preston.
fun.
Oh, well, who is he?
John
No,
Preston.
but who is he?
It's the
He's made,
It's a
He's
satire.
made
It's like
videos
Colbert.
for Movi.
And he's part of our
Oh,
he's
that
part of
guy.
our
Oh.
coalition.
Where
Yeah.
he's in the Dos Equis bar, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
then-
makes this like, I'm the most influential man in the world, and I'd like you to stay silent.
Yeah.
No, he
Don't-
says stay
don't
silent,
vote.
my friends.
Yeah.
Instead of
Instead of stay thirsty, stay
Yeah.
silent, my
It's
friend.
a takeoff on the Dos Equis commercials.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
It's
but
kind of
here's
like-
here's the ironic thing about this particular meeting. There was a demonstration going on in the front of the convention center, and it was a group of people that are against vaccinations.
Yeah.
They're
Oh, yeah,
against
the
the
vaxxers,
Senate, the
anti-vaxxers.
Senate
Anti-vaxxers.
will
Anti-vaxxers.
require, yeah.
Yeah,
The
and
They
Senate
were,
will
they were
require
sister
vaccination.
giants.
but John was on his way to protest with them.
Right.
He had this tag on that
His
circle
wife-
So
slash,
he's
His wife is an
idiot.
anti-vaxxer.
Okay.
His wife, Preston's
and I
wife.
was like,
Yeah.
because myself, I'm like, I want your kids to be vaccinated.
Oh, God.
You need to
Wow.
be vaccinated. Don't let the rest of the herd take
No,
care of
there's
you.
a
But we
huge
did briefly
movement.
talk to this one woman who was there with her two little kids, and she said, yeah, everything's okay because 97% of the kids are vaccinated. And I said, well, you better hope that you're not too effective in spreading your message, because if it gets much lower, you might be in trouble. You
I
know?
met-
I mean, it's like they're saying, my kids are fine because 97%.
Because your kids are
Yeah.
fine, and you've already gone through it, and let your kids rot in hell.
Exactly.
But my
Yeah.
kids aren't gonna rot in hell, but then maybe if you get the measles from my kid, well, maybe then they'll rot in hell. It's irrational.
It
It
seems
is.
really
It's totally
selfish.
It's
irrational,
irrational.
but it's the kind of issue that the Republicans like to pick on
For the nanny state.
to stir up a
Right.
whole bunch of
Well, there's a lot of
Stuff,
Democrats who
right.
are anti. They
yes,
don't want that
yeah,
vaccination
and that'll
thing.
be a
Yeah.
great one for them to grab
And
onto.
I don't care. It's
They
the
were all
right
over,
thing to
they
do.
were all over Sister Giant, the anti-vaxxers, the big.
I
big
met
time.
some really interesting people at the convention, and it's a great place to network. I
Yeah.
think everybody in this club should go to the convention next time, because it is really a good place to understand how this thing works.
All right, so what is your upshot you know, your just cliff notes at 8:30 at night for our club.
8:35.
What does our club, what is the upshot?
Every caucus that we went to, you know what they talked about? Registering voters. The one really cool thing that I heard was registering 17-year-olds. There is a
Yeah.
club, it's the Latino club. What's it called in Elmo or gosh, I can't remember the name of the city.
I don't remember city what it was in, but they said that
anyway,
there
it's in
is,
this video.
that there is a
collection.
law that,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can register before, if you're
that
going to be
yeah, the
18 by the
17-year-olds
time
are
there's an
supposed to
election.
get
You can
registered.
In
register,
this
yeah.
particular,
Yeah.
yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
In this particular
but they
district,
reminded the schools of it.
I want to say Inyo, but I don't think it's Inyo. Anyway, 97% of the 17-year-old high school kids are registered to vote.
Yay.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought, oh my God, we've got to.
They probably include it in something like civics or something, or their, you know, as part of their community service or something.
You
And in order to be
register,
able
yeah.
to go out, to graduate, you have to register.
These guys go
Which
to the
is
schools,
outstanding idea.
and somehow they go to the schools and get them to register to
Well, you know,
vote.
there's legislation that's gonna make it so that, and it's going through the California legislation to make everybody, once they become 17, they become registered automatically.
Yeah, and
So that's gonna be really great. Oregon did it first, we're gonna about to do it second.
So registering
Yeah, right.
voters, okay, which is
Uh-huh.
that's our claim to fame here in this club. We need to continue to do that.
Mhm.
And making people aware of issues. So guess what? We are doing exactly what we're
the
supposed to be doing.
educational piece.
Outreach to people. When we're out at the street, when we're tabling, you know, asking people to register to vote, we're giving them reasons why they need to register to vote. Because all of these issues, that's what's going to determine what candidate they vote for. So it's not hard. It's pretty simple. But validation came this weekend for what we are doing.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
That's all.
And I'm so glad that I went. I mean it. I was like, I don't know what the heck this is going to be like. But afterwards, I was like,
I'm so glad you went,
Yeah.
yeah.
yes.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
really
great.
gives you a point of reference now.
And we met this woman, R.L. Miller, who
Oh, I know her, she's
R.L.
on Daily
Miller was
Coast.
running. This was at
Oh,
the
yeah.
R.L. Miller.
environmental caucus,
Yeah.
and she was
She's
running
the-
for president.
she's
She
the top.
won.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
but we saw her early in the morning because that's when
What's
their
she look
caucus was. She's probably like 5'2",
Short.
A little bit stocky,
little
short.
short,
Okay.
stout
Okay.
woman. Yeah,
Okay,
right,
cool.
white girl,
Yeah, she's
very
well
nice,
liked on Coast, people follow her.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R.L. Miller. How many
Uh-huh.
women go by
Yeah.
R.L.?
That's her name on Coast too. She's
Yeah,
not
that's her,
fancy.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
Anyway,
she's good.
we chatted with her and we got to the conversation of Nanette Barragon, and she really likes Nanette Barragon. She goes, that is the real deal. Nanette is the real deal.
Mhm.
So, you know, I when Nanette spoke, after she came away from the podium, I gave her the club card, our club calling card, and said, you know what, I'd really like to help you out. So, you know, I'd like you to come and meet people in our club and maybe just talk about what you're going through with the petro industry in Hermosa Beach. And she said that she would do that.
That's
So,
Great.
We have her come speak.
yeah.
Okay, so, so what are we what is the agenda for the upcoming meeting?
Well, yeah, we never got to that part.
And we didn't talk about the People's Day of the City. I have a couple flyers, but have you guys been to it before? You already know what it is?
I don't,
Um,
I mean, I know what it
really
is, but I
awesome.
haven't been to it.
Okay, it's something that was started by Tonya, and it's a lot of different groups and just average citizens, because they have it in a different part of the city every year, so that they can bring in the neighborhood people. So they're expecting, 300 or 400 people.
May 27th.
It's May
Which is-
27th,
which is
from
what?
5 to 8 at Stevens Middle School.
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday,
Yes, it is a
That's
Wednesday,
a week
it says on
from,
here.
a week from this,
A week from this coming
day
Wednesday.
after tomorrow.
Exactly. But it's really good to get an overview of all the different activist groups in the city. Many of them are young people, like the Khmer Girls in Action, the Filipino Migrant Center. Most of these are young people that are out there active about a particular issue, whether it's renters' rights or whatever. And the coalition participates, the Coalition for Good Jobs in the Healthy Community.
And then what, do they speak? It's each-
Yes,
they-
they
yes,
speak to
they
subjects and
speak.
issues.
And they put on little skits. I'm supposed to be in the skit about the hotel workers.
Yeah, I volunteered for that too, we'll see what
Are
happens.
you going to be
I'll
the,
be the evil boss lady,
You
I
could be
imagine,
the-
I don't
or you could be
know.
I'm gonna be the
boss
naked guy that comes to the door, hey!
or how about the person shoving the 250-pound cart? Maybe you could do that.
I could identify with
I marched
that.
in the parade with the Long Beach Housing and the timeshare people.
In the Pride Parade?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, I have pictures.
Wow.
I'll send you.
I saw Robert Garcia on the Channel 4 News wearing a Superman shirt, that was interesting.
Good.
We
And I
saw
saw
Uduak on the news.
Uduak
Yes.
at the convention, I don't know if you guys saw that,
He's the
Channel 4
one that
had.
did that.
He
Video.
videotaped Loretta Sanchez
Yeah.
making a bit of a gaffe, that war whoop thing
Yeah.
at Norton's Steakhouse, which was, you know, Loretta Sanchez, I know that she's been there and she's voted, I think she's voted the right way on a lot of stuff. She's kind of
She's
a
more
goofball,
conservative,
you
yeah.
know, and she doesn't come off as being really professional, whereas Kamala Harris she's got that gravitas. At the same time,
have that.
she is so articulate and so obviously knowledgeable that
Qualified.
you feel like, yeah, that she's the better qualified candidate. So
Definitely.
I don't know, Lorraine's gonna have a hard slog.
She is.
I think that our general meeting, I would really like to share some of the video, maybe not the whole Elizabeth Warren thing, but just like little slideshows, snippets, and talk about the experience that we had, talk about Mo specifically, and talk about what we can anticipate down the road for the election for 2016, how we want to mobilize, talk about how our grassroots activism is a major player in getting people to register to vote, and being knowledgeable about the issues we're learning right now is what makes people want to register to vote. I think that needs to be like a focus, and I would like to make that the next focus of our meeting coming up,
But
because
is
I
it-
want to tie it in with tabling. We need to table. The summer months are here. It's going to be warm outside. There's going to be lots of
Can we
opportunity
break off
to
into
table.
groups and do a little thing
I was
where we
gonna say,
work
I
in
think
the
there
small
should be-
groups
I
and do
think-
tabling as the subject? And
I
talk
like
about how
that.
they might do that, how they could message?
I think that's a good idea.
Or
that.
maybe could we, well, maybe there's nothing to discuss at the moment, but could we reorganize according to our two goals? Could we have a 15-minute Movi group and a 15-minute equity group, and let them like share what they've been doing, or, you know, just kind of generalized? Or they could talk about, I guess the groups could talk about tabling, but I think that some people are going to sit in those groups and not know what to
Like,
talk
do
about.
some practicing on what it would be like to talk about.
Here's what I can do.
Oh.
If we're
Yeah,
going to do
that would be a
this,
good idea.
That's
if we're going to do
That'd
this,
be a very good idea.
we're going to have a meeting at my house. Dee Dee has given us a brand new pop-up. I will put the pop-up up.
Mhm.
I will set it up like it's a voting registration booth, right?
Mhm.
And we can sit in it, and we can, you know, do like a. You know,
Play acting, play.
A little bit of role playing.
I think that's a good thing, you guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we just have to set it up so that we have some, something to work with rather than just blankly say, okay, now pretend you're someone walking.
No, it's to
We
the
can't
side of
have
the
to-
issues.
we have
As
to
you,
set
as you
it
see
up
on the
with
table, I
situation.
have a lot of tabling material
Uh-huh.
already that I just picked up from the campaign. I mean, these are issues that, I mean, we might want to talk about. Legalizing marijuana, you know, the Trans-Pacific
good.
I mean,
Partnership.
even if you tell them, okay, somebody's gonna play the part of a Republican who, is mad about XYZ and wants to talk about this, and how would you handle that, or
Single
something like
payer
that.
health care, you know, I mean,
I don't know,
we
something
could
like
do
that.
that.
That way they're involved and give them the practice of actually doing it.
As long as they have the knowledge, because people aren't gonna be able to talk. I mean, you know what could be good is if
You need
like
some
in
good
our group,
pieces.
if just a few people modeled it.
Yeah.
And not everybody, if we divided into the groups and had everybody work on this, some people are gonna be working on nothing because they don't have the knowledge or the interest or whatever. But if we watched as you and 2 or 3 other people came up to the table, and we sit around the little booth, and, I mean, they're out there, and there's some shills who pretend they're Republicans
I like
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah.
And the rest of the group just watches
I
the
think
interaction of the
I think we need some
tabling.
really good pieces already done, like
Yeah.
a really good piece we've done, it's got a picture on it, it's got the information, it's got a little chart, another little, 2 or 3 little pieces, and then they have something to work with. Well, see now, here we have, see this chart
Right.
and blah, 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 blah. It's not like they have nothing to work with. We need to give it to them.
Right.
Just like this is done. It's done, here it is, pretend this is it, right? We
I
got
like
3
it.
things, we produced
And
it,
this
we've
is
gotta produce
doable.
it.
All right,
This is
all right,
totally
but now,
doable.
is that my committee that by June 4th, we're gonna have these things produced? Because
This is-
I think we'll
I can
have-
do some of
I
it.
think we'll
I-
have one
well, okay,
produced.
right, and you
Yes.
gave me the assignment to do guidelines on one sample, and I will
Yes.
get that done before, because I'm leaving on the 3rd. No, I'm leaving on the
We'll have
2nd.
that one produced, and, we'll have some other, some of
Yeah,
those
and
generic
maybe some of
There's
these-
supposed to be, there's a coalition meeting next week, and then there's the state of the city the following week, and all of those groups, I'm hoping, they usually
Will
they
have
have
materials.
tables at the state of the city, and they should have handouts.
Oh, that's true, that's good. And, if we had copies to share with our members, to say, now, this is the information, let's look at it, let's say it's this, whatever it is, so we have a copy for everybody. And now Cindy and Dagmar and Stuart are going to demo
Right.
what it's like to go to a table and do tabling. And this is what we're
I
gonna
mean, you
table
could
about.
have a facilitator broken up, like you're one, you're one, you're one, I'm one, and we facilitate around the room, and then we get our chance to go up and do our little bit.
We
Okay.
And
could
you could even
divvy
set
up,
up a
yeah.
little skit, we could say skit
I
number
think that would
one
make the
is
meeting
this.
fun too, because
Skip
you're
the-
outside and stuff, and I think that'd be
We,
fun.
That could be
need to,
fun.
we need to spend some time though actually working this up where we say, okay, group number one, their thing is gonna be this, they're gonna talk about,
They're gonna
wage,
talk about-
wage theft and this, and you're
Oh,
gonna
that's-
have a Republican
that's
walk in, they're gonna
anti-vaxxers,
say something,
vaxxers.
we set it up for them, so it's all like, but we need 2 or 3 hours to work on the
Probably
set.
need like 3 or 4 hours. but
Yeah, so when do we have time, should we pick a date?
We
that
need-
have
we need to-
Before the 4th of June.
Right,
Well, this is Memorial Day weekend coming up, so
yeah, really, it's gonna be tough to do that, to get that all done,
I
but,
will be home. It's a staycation for me, and I get a day off.
Yay!
So
I mean, I would give a day of my long
I would
weekend.
give a day of my weekend too.
Okay,
I
so
could-
we
And
I
I'd be
could
willing to have it at the house so we can do the dry
So
run
Sunday or
and
Monday?
set up the booth and what day do
So
you guys
give me
have?
the
what are the,
dates.
what are
With the actual
the, what are the
dates.
numbers? Yeah, the dates.
24, 25.
Okay, 24.
That's Saturday and Sunday?
That's Sunday and Monday.
Monday.
Sunday and Monday,
Saturday, we're
okay.
gonna be gone.
That's right. Monday.
Okay.
Monday
Monday
the
the
25th,
24th.
actual-
or Sunday the 24th. Sunday 24, Monday 25.
Oh, is that, no,
Those are the
so,
dates.
okay.
So Sunday, 24th,
Or Monday.
Monday, 25th.
yeah, the Monday is not as good for me, but Sunday would work.
Sunday's okay.
But I mean, maybe that isn't as
Sunday?
good for you.
Okay, sure.
Okay, Sunday.
All right, so what are we
Sunday,
doing?
Sunday,
Like
Sunday!
Sunday, 11 o'clock, a
Oh,
little
that's
bit
kind of
later.
early. How about
Yeah.
noon?
Noon.
Is that good?
I'm gonna take a walk. What are we doing again?
That's this coming Sunday.
We're gonna
It's coming
talk-
Sunday, we're gonna plan this
We're
kind of
gonna
a thing?
plan this
plan
thing.
this
And I'll
thing.
set up the booth and we'll just.
And I'm
give
gonna
it a
send
dry
you
run.
some data.
So
about this.
between now and Sunday, I need
No,
to
you
have
don't
done,
have to do
well,
that.
I
We
mean,
can
No,
use-
just get started,
Yeah.
just kinda get started, and
Okay.
then we'll help you further it
We'll
along.
use one of these already made up ones that look all slick.
Or-
and
or
we'll do
I
that.
maybe
think we should use
we can do
Shayna's.
one.
I think we should use Shayna's, you guys, I'm not
Okay.
kidding.
You're right, I think you're right. You
Is
should
it-
I mean,
use
for one thing,
Shayna's,
that would
yes.
be a real
It's
compliment to her.
it's under equity, right?
It is.
It's under
Yeah.
equity and
Why,
it's pertinent.
why voting for candidates who support unions can save and enlarge the middle
Okay,
class?
so you can do some work before Sunday. on
I
that.
can
On
work
that
on,
one,
I
yeah.
can work on
And
this
then
one a little bit.
Maria, we'll look for some I'll get some graphics
Well,
for you.
she's even got a
Oh,
chart,
graph
so
on it.
maybe, I'll tell you what,
Scan it.
what if I just stamp draft on it?
Yeah, and scan it.
And we just scan, I mean, I'll make sure there's no, I've read this a couple times, it's a
But
simple.
it needs to be made flyer-like. That's
Yeah,
not really a flyer
no.
right now.
Just
And Maria knows how
put
to
draft
do
flyer?
on there, scan it, send it to
That's a
me, and
flyer?
I'll make
No,
it
it looks,
even
it's not,
better
a real
looking.
flyer is got more
Make it
power.
even
That's,
better than
that's
that.
just that's a written piece of paper. That's a study report.
Well,
That's not-
what would you
that's not a
suggest?
flyer.
Because that's what,
It
It
takes,
needs more
takes powerful,
graphic.
bold graphics. It
Well,
takes
okay,
different
title.
fonts.
Well, I know
Less,
title.
less writing, more pictures.
Less writing
Yes.
pictures.
Huh?
Yes.
Here, this
Less
one's in
writing,
black
more
and
Yeah.
white,
no, you
that's
guys,
there.
you can't,
this?
now, you didn't give me that suggestion, because you cannot convey important summaries and not have words.
Yeah,
I'll
but
make this really easy.
limited.
Graph is
It's
bigger, text is
Yeah,
fewer
she
words.
knows how to
Smaller.
do it.
Right,
Don't
okay.
worry. We
Okay.
can make it- we
All right,
can
good.
make it better
Maybe
than
not
it
every
was.
word is in it, and I sure think Shana will still be happy. You know, she's
Yeah,
gonna
but
make
you're
it
not gonna
pretty.
communicate that
Yeah,
to
okay,
people if you
We'll
don't have
iron
the
that
words.
stuff out
Just
like
saying.
later.
don't
I
get
think
it.
I'm ready to adjourn this meeting unless anybody has anything else they wanna say.
Let's see. Oh, do you remember Celestine?
Yeah, I do,
Yeah.
I do, I worked with him.
He called me today.
Woo-hoo!
He called me and I'm like, I didn't know who he was, and he starts talking to me. He thinks I'm like an insurance agent. He starts talking to me about Medicare, Medicare, blah, 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 blah. He thinks I'm somebody else. And I'm like, so, who is this? And then I went, I know who this is. This is Celestine. I know you. I haven't heard from you since 2011.
That's funny.
He said, oh, now I know who you are. So he said, I moved to Bellflower or moved to somewhere like that. And I said, oh, well, you can still be a member of our club. I can sign you up
I
right
love it,
now.
Cindy's like out there.
You don't have to live in Long Beach. It's not a Long Beach only club. And he's like, well, okay, I'll think about that.
He was the one who helped us get started on our mission statement.